What's up, guys, and welcome to Lego Castle Showdown. We're about to have an amazing stream here, guys. We have plenty of Castle fans here, and there's so many Castle fans in the chat. I can already tell by seeing the conversations that are going. A lot of Nexo Knights questions going towards Mark and Steven down there. So I don't know what that's about.
They're not even on this thing. No.
Yes, I made sure that because one, I did that to Mark already, and we almost lost friendship. I want to make sure that we stay friends here, Mark.
It's a long history.
All right, let's. I'm going to quickly lay down the ground rules of what's about to happen here, guys. So we have 28 different castle factions. I'm pretty sure I have them all. I might be missing one or two of the random ones that popped up in some set and who knows when. So I have all of them here. As I said, about 28. We're going to go through. There's 5 of us here. We're going to vote basically, and whatever faction gets a majority vote, which is 3 or more, is going to go on to the next round. So let's say there's a faction that you guys like and some of us don't, might not go through. So we're going to have fun with this. We're just going to talk Lego Castle. So let me introduce you guys the awesome panel that is here. So I'm going to start on this side. On my left, I guess that's technically my left. I don't know. It's camera stuff. First off, it is Cheesy Studios, or AKA Caleb, who, if you guys don't know, makes some awesome Lego content over on his channel. Even talking about Lego Castle, I highly recommend checking it out. He's also the Castle Bro. I guess he won that on a show called Lego Masters that no one's really heard of. But yeah. So highly excited to have you here today. I know that you're a big Castle fan, so really excited to hear your thoughts about it. On the bottom corner there is SHYTIMEismyTIME. Guys, you know this man. He is
How's it going?
Black Falcon extraordinaire at this point. Over, what is it, 1,400 Black Falcons?
Almost at 2,000.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you got some more than Big applause. Guys, on the bottom here, we have the former Castle Bros, and I'm going to keep bringing this up because you know what? It needs to be said. They may have won Lego Masters, but they didn't win the title that actually meant something. So I'm joking.
Yeah, it happens.
But all these guys here are huge Lego Castle fans. All right, so first off, I'm going to quickly ask a real quick question, everyone. Favorite faction? Because we know there are biases here. We all have a favorite. So, Caleb, I'm going to start with you. Favorite faction?
I think I'm going to find that out by the end of today. I have a lot. There's none that I jump to immediately. Some that stand out to me. I love the Trolls, fantasy era Trolls.
Yep.
And I'm kind of on, this is going to trigger people, but I'm on a Knights Kingdom like crazy ride right now. So very much got Knights Kingdom on the mind.
Okay.
Not even kidding.
You've been doing videos about it, right?
Yeah, it's just
okay. So
I've been collecting the trading cards. I've been getting into the lore. I'm in deep. Okay.
So I do the same thing every time I'm researching a faction for one of my videos. I just start to fall in love with the faction, even though it's like afterwards I'm like, that's kind of a dumb faction. Like
I don't know. I literally bought Vladek Stark Fortress this morning. I don't know what's come over me. It's
you know what? That's a solid.
It's a phase. Maybe it's a phase, but we're Knights Kingdom. I don't know. It might go far. I'm sure everyone else will shoot me down. That's probably okay.
You know what?
That just was the best night.
It's better than space. Let's just say that.
Ooh, those are fighting words.
Shy, I already know what you're gonna say, but I'm gonna give you a chance to say it.
I mean, come on. Like, I don't have merchandise everywhere, and they got the shield ready. I invest thousands in dollars on one faction. So I don't know. They're called the Black Falcons, and I know they're a fan fave for mostly everyone here. So let's just cut to the end. We already know what's up.
Steven.
That's a good question because I kind of love them all, but I always go for the weird ones, right?
Okay.
One of my favorites is actually the dwarves. Because there's only one dwarf faction. I love the crownies, as most people would call them back in the day. But I loved the dwarves. I thought the helmet mold was super cool. I loved the axes and everything. Really liked that one. That was a real fan favorite of mine growing up.
I honestly, the castle there, or mountain fortress, whatever you want to call it, they had the mines.
Yeah,
the the Mines Castle was honestly one of the sets that got me into Lego Castle back in the day because my friend got it and I would play with that thing like, yes, you have the car. It's right there for me.
Iconic. One of my favorite
It's such
builds ever. So good. So good.
Yeah.
Side note here, someone on Rebookable took it and made it so you could extend, like if you had two of them, extend the mine into a whole mine shaft thing. It's actually really awesome. I highly recommend
That's
looking it
awesome.
up. So, Mark, I know what you're gonna say, but I want to hear. Everyone needs to hear it.
Yeah, so it's got to be the 2010 Kingdoms Lion Knights. They're really my go-to faction. They just look really cool, like the gold, the white, the red, the classic color scheme. But close would be the original Lion Knights, who were the opponents of the Black Falcons. So I'm on the opposite of Shy here, but I like the Lion Knights. I don't know. So
it's funny because you're opposite of me too, because I'm the 2010 Dragon Knights fan.
Yeah.
So what can I say?
It's
All
good.
right.
Yeah.
Let's get right into this with the first matchup here, which is already going to be a heavy hitter. And guys, when I said that I pulled from every different castle thing, Steven put in a specific request.
I had to do it.
And that's in our first matchup. Now, look, this is all random. I did not pick these matchups. All these matchups are random. And right off the back, we're starting with the... What year did the Duplo set? It was like early 2000s.
I don't remember when. But it was a thing.
Duplo Lion Knights.
2005.
2005. Thank you.
Is that it? Somewhere around there.
Versus
2008. Excuse me.
Okay. I do have some images here. I'm going to pull them up. So I don't have a ton here.
Look at that. It's amazing.
They are really cool. So these guys came out, and then of course we're going against the iconic Crusaders, which this is already a tough matchup because the Crusaders or Lion Knights, whatever you want to call them, are iconic. We're one of the original factions and kind of have, 2010 really brought a lot more love to them too. 2020 too. So
Last year.
The latest castle stuff has brought them some love. So,
And that does
Sure.
count? That does count in this discussion?
yeah, any moment this faction has ever been mentioned, you guys can use as a supporting argument. So, of course, as I said, we got the Lion Knights, our Crusaders. I feel like for me personally, I'm going to go right out the back, throw out a vote. And now look, my vote can change depending on what other people say, but I got to go with the Crusaders. They're iconic. They've been around for so long. And those new sets really put a new twist on them, especially with that cape. I'm a sucker for the castle capes, so a little bit.
Yeah.
And guys, let us know in the chat what you think, and it'll definitely add to our discussion here.
Wow. Well, the Duplo Lion Knights are really hard to come by.
It's true.
And they just look awesome as like a Duplo Knight set. You don't see these anywhere. They're very hard. They're very expensive. You can find them. Even if I were to pick this up tomorrow, I wouldn't even give it to my kids just because of the rarity of them. And that's kind of messed up. But that horse with the little armor barding all over it looks so cool. But I honestly, my vote's also gonna go with the Lion Knights because it's rejuvenated castle fans, and you really have to go with what Lego stands behind it. Castle fans are happy about it, even though I'm a Black Falcon fan and I shouldn't like these guys. I want them to succeed. So sorry, Duplo.
Also, real quick, Caleb looked it up before the show. Some of those sets are going for over 300 in the Duplo line, and they're only across the seas. So.
Yeah, they're none here in the US. Zero.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll go next. So yeah, you can. No, hang on. Pick this matchup.
You have to think about
Oh,
this.
no. I'm processing here. So, I'm okay. Hands down, going with Lion Knights from the Crusader era Knights. Yes, for sure. This was it makes me sad, but I totally get it because this is one of those staple, iconic, the great rivals of the Black Falcons. That rivalry wouldn't exist without these guys. The 90th anniversary is a showstopper of a set. I was kind of humbled building it. Wow, I didn't know Lego sets could be this good. It was truly amazing. And it really kept the legacy going. The Duplo one, I am a sucker for those weird themes occasionally. So that one does. It's just so cool. Imagine if it was system, right? Not Duplo. It would be outstanding. It'd be one of the coolest Lego castle themes ever. But it's not system. It's Duplo. So we can't play with it the way we would like to play with it. So that has to get brushed aside in my vote. Reluctantly. Sorry, bro.
That's fine. You got it, Caleb, or shall I finish? Yeah, shall I go next here?
Go for it, Mark.
Okay. So yeah, I think that I have to go with the Crusader Lion Knights because they're one of my favorites, but at the same time, the Duplo makes it hard. I think there's two things that Steven kind of latched onto a little bit that really solidify the deal. Is that it's Duplo, so you only can have the bad guys versus good guys. There's no other castle realms to play with in Duplo era, so that makes them a little bit more separated, unfortunately. And then the Lion Knights also have a ton of utilitarian uses in just normal system play because they have more than one barding now. They have new and old, so you can kind of mix and match, and they just have a lot of cool sets. So I mean, it's got to be Crusader Lion Knights. I think if Duplo was put against maybe like not a staple, iconic, one of the top 5 themes, it could have held its own. It's so cool, but Crusader Knights, they got to go with it.
Again, guys, this is all random. Originally, I had all the Lion factions against each other to start with because I was like, we gotta see what the best Lion faction here was. Like, I originally had these against the Royal Knights, but I was like, all right, we're just gonna hit the random button. Whatever we get, we get. Like, Caleb.
Yeah, I mean, my vote doesn't count one way or the other here, but
we want it anyway.
And maybe for that reason alone, I should just go with the Duplo. I mean, I've been introduced to this theme for all of like 5 minutes now, and honestly, I'm so impressed. They probably introduced 20, 25 new molds just to produce this theme. I mean, the sets are incredibly rare. Look at that set. Every mold, it's insane. And I love what they've done with the texturing on the walls. I have some respect for the Duplo here. And if you own one of these things, I mean, you've got a set rarer than any Lion Knight set. So
good one.
Duplo, let's go.
Look at that playability, though.
True that.
And it's actually pretty decent playability too, compared to some of the playability features in newer castle sets. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I'm not changing my vote because no. I'm just like Duplo as a whole. Maybe the other Duplo faction will get ahead here. So I mean, this is Duplo Lion. We also have the Duplo Dragon. So all right, I think that's pretty unanimous. What's about to happen here, and that is the first winner of the matchup. All right, next up. This is a very interesting one here. Board versus Dragon Knights. If you don't mind, I'm going to start this argument here with them being one of my favorite factions.
You better.
Okay, I'm going to make one argument here. What other faction has used that color green? Not a single one. And that is why, in my opinion, it's one of the most unique factions. I'm trying to find the image here. Okay. The figures look absolutely amazing for the Dragon Knights. And in my opinion, they're a little more like the heavy ones, the real knights, look so much better than even the Lion ones did, in my opinion, with that gunmetal. I know. I'm making shots at a faction.
They look great.
The Sully versus these two. But, okay, yes, Bear Knights. Bear Knights, I will take this comment. Bear Knights, which is in this, did technically also use this color. But they used it first. They also had the good-looking dragon symbol. There was also that amazing yellow and sand green mixed in with, like, the color outfits. Like, their armor ones, the chainmail, are just, like, to me, every part of this faction, the knights, are just amazing. Now, look, maybe the builds weren't the craziest things, but I will say, in my opinion, the Dragon Knights clean house here. So, yes, I'm taking the fashion argument approach here.
Well, you have to give it the fashion. I mean, come on. That's the first thing you look at when you see any of these factions is how do they look and how attractive that are their armor, what they look like. It plays a factor. So I agree.
Anyone want to take a second stab here?
Yeah.
Okay. My bad. I don't know who's next. Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah. I mean, my vote is for the Dragon Knights too. Some of it, that personal bias comes in. I mean, I remember getting my first Dragon Knights at my first visit to Legoland, and like that's kind
wow.
of real good memories right there. Yeah, and like. And like, of course, it's too dark, but the amount of detailing, especially like on the middle figure with the leg printing and stuff, is great. I think the one thing that turned me off from the bulls is the eyes being gray is just the weirdest thing ever. You can kind of see it here. Let's see if I can get the face to show.
Let me get your.
Yeah, it's not going to show up. It's too dark. But the eyes look like they're closed. It's really bizarre. Again, an interesting color scheme, a more unique color scheme, pulling in the brown of all things.
Which I'll agree. Yeah.
And you gotta love like the silver accessories, which you can see there in the sets. But it just seems that the accessories they have, they're just a little generic. I don't think they got anything on the look, like you said, of the Dragon Knights. So Dragon Knights for me.
I mean, I would have honestly argued Boar Knights if it wasn't that they were up against my favorite faction. But I think Boar is cool in their own rights. They had a unique symbol and a unique, like, they aren't a dragon, which in my opinion does count as a win for them because there are so many dragon and lion factions. But at the same time, the fashion argument here, dragon, just that look with that dark green wins for me. So sorry.
All right. So yeah, I think that the fashion argument is there. The Dragon Knights look fantastic. They're one of the better looking factions overall for sure. This is more competitive for me than I think you guys are just like boom. But for me, the chrome accessories on the bulls really make this more interesting than it could have been. And I think that another thing that I really love is that's the last use of the classic dragon too. So that's fun to see that included. But here's the thing. The chrome accessories are kind of like a specialty chaser item piece. And they're a throwback to the Dragon Knights of previous times because that's where the helmet's from. And the armor's from the Conquistadors. And then the dragons from the Dragon Knights too. So all of the coolest things about the bulls are borrowed from the past. So for that reason, I think that the Dragon Knights totally get this. But at the same time, it's like I'm liking the elements that they're kind of hodgepodging together. It's like, oh, it's too bad it just doesn't work. So anyway.
Yeah.
If you hadn't said that, I would have voted for the bulls. I was surprised with the dragons. I absolutely, first of all, I adore the color scheme. You're all right about that. It's phenomenal. I love it. One problem. There's no dragon in the Dragon Knight sets.
There is technically one.
It's tiny.
Yes, I mean it's tiny, but I'm going to use that argument still.
Are you talking about the wizard polybag?
All right. No, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love the dragons. But I think we're going too hard on in my humble opinion, I think you're going too hard on the bulls characters because a lot of their elements, a lot of Knights Kingdom 2, can carry over to Dragon Knights. Knights Kingdom 1. Yeah.
Sorry,
specifically can actually carry over to the dragons. Some of that stuff. Also, this was my first castle theme. Is this era, and so I have a lot more nostalgia with this one. But I remember how excited I was for those bucket helms, and I used them all the stinking time. So you know what? Oh, I was this close, but I'll go with the dragons.
I have the same bias as you because my first set was the Knights Duel which is the smallest set of Kingdom. So for Castle, my first Castle set was that. So
yeah.
Also, there is a little bit. I understand the bias part of this.
Yeah, but this was a really hard one. Okay, I'll go with the dragons though.
Shy.
All right, so I already said what I said about how they look, but the Joust set includes one of the hardest bardings to find all over because some dude literally bought them all. So the Falcon Knight, although you say not related to the Black Falcons, I beg to differ. But because of that, it's one of my coveted knights that I have in my collection. And because of that, I'm going with the Dragon Knights.
I can accept that. Hey, any argument works here.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Dragon Knights go through.
Hard one fought.
Unanimous.
This could get dirty.
Hey, they could actually fight each other. We could just watch. Like, so real quick before we get on to this next one here. What's up, everyone who's in the chat? We got a ton of people talking today. What's up, Ethan the Artisan, Boss Productions.
Ethan, go to your room.
Yes,
Don't
there is a
talk to me,
question.
Ethan.
Okay. I think I said this in the beginning. Nexo Knights is not included in this bracket
No,
because
Nexo
it is
Knights.
not True Castle. Okay. We're looking at True Castle factions here. Also, there are a couple CMF factions that could have been thrown in, but they weren't super prominent, like the Elflands ones and all those. So I didn't throw them in here, and Ninja. I almost threw it in, but I was trying to decide. So there are a few factions missing, but all the prominent ones are definitely here. So I don't want to start this one because I kind of already know which way I'm leaning. Like,
It's my favorite one, so I think that I'll just say a quick
You'll make-
note about
you'll
the
make the
Lion
argument.
Knights. They're pretty awesome. It's kind of like the same argument of the original Crusader Knights. It's like these make the Dragon Knights awesome because they're the antithesis of them. They're the good guys. They have
That's
some
nice.
beautiful colors. I love the gold accessories. You got the golden armor on the horse. You got the several nice partings. And I think they have a really good army building potential. I think they're a little bit more straight laced, but I still think they're really nice, really beautiful
Yeah.
faction.
Happy
Now,
Joust set.
Here's the thing: the dwarves are good, but I mean it's obvious for me. I think they got to win. So.
all right, I don't know who wants to. Anyone?
I'll jump in.
Oh, here we go. Ooh.
It's dwarves for me. I mean, here.
Oh.
I tried to get the light on him now. That's pretty good. But I mean, I think Steven brought it up earlier, but this is just such a unique faction. Absolutely love these guys. Just because we've never had anything quite like it. It's such a good job with the helmets, the beards. There's so much unique stuff about them, and the play sets they had were really cool too. Especially that mine is just so iconic. With again the mine carts, which are so much fun. Yeah, it's the dwarves. I mean, this is a tough one. Had to think about it because I mean, the Lion Knights are beautiful again, much like their counterpart, the Dragon Knights. But there's just something really special about the dwarves. I gotta vote for them.
I'm
Coming
gonna
up for me, please.
I'm gonna play dirty here for a second. I'm gonna go dwarfs, and I love the Lion Knights. Kingdoms is such a heart for me. I absolutely love, but I'm gonna go dwarfs because by this point, this was our 5th Lion faction. By the time we got those Lion Knights, it was also the 3rd time we got in Lions in red, which to me is just like, are you kidding me? Like they couldn't figure out a new color like they did for the Dragon Knights. So again, I'm sorry, I have to play dirty here. I need to make this win.
You guys are killing me here.
Yes, I do agree. They are very buttoned up. They're very clean and they look good. But dwarves just had they were such a good faction. They're so unique. That little mechanical mine / catapult thing is absolutely awesome. The dwarves mine is one of the most unique kind of castles, fortifications for any faction. We kind of haven't gotten something like it, and the play features on it were absolutely amazing. I agree, the dwarves helmets were just awesome. And when did we get introduced to? I feel like here's around the time we got introduced to short legs. No, that was Ewoks. Never mind. Never mind. That's not an argument.
It's Yoda, I believe, the first Yoda.
Oh, I think you're right, actually.
Yeah.
But anyways, all the
Really
molds that they had for the dwarves were just, I mean, the shields, those small circular ones with the winged helmet on it, just beautiful. And that's why I got to go dwarves.
All right, my turn, I guess. So
Yes, please.
we can all admit that Kingdoms with Dragon Knights and Lion Knights is probably the prettiest rivalry versus any other theme that's out there within Castle. The Lion Knights look great, very royal. I mean, I feel like the reasons why it's red is because lion. I mean,
Yep.
it makes sense to be red. And yes, it is tiresome to see the same thing over again. But out of all the Lion Knight factions, I think this one's the best looking one. And I feel like their castle looks great. But the dwarves have that grit. Like the sets. I mean, I've never had any of these sets. I mean, this is well into my dark age, but I've seen a lot of these at Bricks Minifigs and secondhand stores, and some of my friends have the dwarves, and they're so much fun to play with. Just playing with these sets is amazing. And what really gets me to them, aside from their helmets, because they're great, are the shields.
Yeah.
Like it's a different shield amongst all the factions. It's not in the traditional shield shape. It's in a circle and it's flat. There's no like protruding stud. It's very Viking dwarfish, which I really love. So I'm going with dwarves.
All right, that leaves my obsolete vote, but I will. I'll say this. First of all, I had no idea that this was going to go up against lions. So I think. Okay, I'll just keep this short and sweet. I think that dwarves are cooler, but there's one thing that everyone has forgotten. Everybody has forgotten this. We wouldn't have the goat if it wasn't for the lions.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Because no lions came in that set.
Wait a minute. Where did the village belong to? What side was it on? It has to get my vote. The lions own the goat.
This is the dumbest argument.
Wow.
That's my vote, guys.
Hey, the dwarves still move on.
Yes,
I wanted to honor that piece. We cannot talk about castle without talking about the goat.
Oh gosh, yes.
So,
Which
that's where it came from. I'm sorry, it's true.
why I officially think that all of us should bond together to get Lego to make a goat faction. Even if it's just a CMF, all I'm saying, to pay tribute to the GOAT, we need a GOAT faction.
Yeah. I recently got something in the mail, guys.
Oh, is he going to goat flex on us?
I mean, I got 2 of them. So.
I could have, yeah. Yes! I was trying to find that shirt. I was like, what's in the hamper?
The Brick Monarch GOAT shirt. I have one of those too. It is such an amazing shirt. Sorry.
I was trying to get neutral and wear that shirt, but
that's the real one. Wow. So I gotta acknowledge this. So I love the dwarves more, but I respect the goat more. So I'll have to go with that.
Valid.
Fair. That's fair.
Wait, were you showing off these?
Hey, wait a minute. I won mine.
Oh, we goat flex.
Oh my word, you!
Damn.
Wait, we need a test to make sure these aren't the fake goats. Okay, no throwing.
Real.
Okay, that is awesome. I really quickly want to acknowledge a comment from Ant Bandit here. Lions are like the normie good guys, but blue lions are the no. I
agree with that. Been there, done that.
All right, going the dwarves for the winning. All right. So for those who don't know this faction, this is the Trolls versus the Rogue Knights, or as I like to call them, the Naked Knights.
Might as well, right?
These I can't even get through this. We all know who's winning this one.
Let's just move on.
Let's steamroll this. Let's go.
So, if you don't know the troll, can we all agree that trolls are the better faction here?
Yes. The warship and the focus
by a long shot. One of the most iconic villains of Castle ever is the trolls.
Yes, I agree. That newest CMF figure made it. So everyone voting for troll. Also, I'm just double checking this here.
I mean, can we just give our loser like a chance just for like 1 second, right? I just have to defend. I have to. I mean, look. If you were an army of any faction and these guys were to arrive on your shores, jumping off on the beach, naked, wearing armor, you wouldn't stop to think, what are they capable of? Because charging up with no clothes. I think
oh my word! It's like
they're the only faction that could probably have that ability to make any army, no matter what they have, to pause and think about what they're doing.
I know that this is supposed to be a yellow faction, which is really cool because we didn't really get many yellow factions. But yeah, that's all you mentioned. I'm so sorry, guys. What just happened here? Okay.
What were they thinking? Like, really, what were they thinking? I heard that's the only good thing.
I heard recently they discontinued like yellow legs so that people wouldn't think minifigures were naked.
Makes sense.
So weird.
I just want to throw that out there. Sorry, I can't.
I'm so sorry, everyone. Okay.
Oh.
Trolls win. Also, I'm going to put this argument out there. Trolls is like one of the strongest factions. I'm not saying like they just by numbers and by strength alone. Like, I'm not saying, yeah, like they just look at those machines they're rolling with. Like, okay. Ooh, this is actually the first one where I have
come
to
on,
consider.
really?
Fright Knights versus Forest Men.
I know who's gonna win.
I'm going to start this. I'm going to go with among the most unpopular opinions here, but I'm going to go Fright Knights.
Oh,
For
wow.
me, Fright Nights is iconic. And the fact that they had Basil the Batlord and Willow the Witch and that cape for Basil was amazing. I love the concept of Fright Nights and it being unique with it being one of the few factions with like a bat on its shield. It got referenced in the newest castle, which was amazing. I have the Basil figure and this like the Fright Nights have started becoming kind of iconic to me. Putting this out there, if one faction was ever to be redone, I'd love them to do Fright Nights again, update all of it, but we got to get Basil the Batlord and Willow the Witch. So for me, my vote is going to go Fright Nights. I know I'm about to get destroyed.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting one, but for every plus that the Fright Knights have, the Forestmen also have. Like they have unique pieces too, like the Black Feather and other cool things, and they have their
Forest
own
Woman.
Forest Woman. She's rare and very collectible. You've also got printed pieces and stuff like that, and I don't know. There's something just so unbelievably charming about the Forestmen. If you've ever watched the old 1930s or something, Robin Hood with Errol Flynn and Lydia de Havilland, it's exactly like this genre. So I remember watching that movie with my aunts and uncles sometimes. So this one really gets my nostalgia. And we had more of these as kids. We got these on Bricklink, some of these characters. And we played with them like crazy. So there's a lot of nostalgia. I love the Fright Nights. You could play that on Lego Racers, right? You could play
Yes.
that. It was so much fun. It was a hard
It
map.
really was. Lego Racers was a huge part of my childhood, and I'm so sad I can no longer play that game.
We also had Dark Forest Dash too. So I feel like every time you get a one up from Fright Nights, the Forestmen are right there. So I don't know. I got to go with the Forestmen. There's something the colors are great. Oh, they're all really good with all the greens and everything. So I don't know. I like the Forestmen. I'm going Forestmen. That's my vote. So.
Yep. I'll follow up, Steven, if you want. So I like the older I get, the more I like the weird stuff, which sounds weird coming out of my mouth, but no, Fright Nights are really fantastic. They have such a great flair, great vibe. They're they're the bad guys, and they're unapologetically bad. They have skulls and skeletons everywhere. They have the bat signal. I think that this is cool. It has more of an Eastern European flavor compared to a lot of like very far Western European with all the other factions. So it's like just the way that the figures, their outfits look, you got the vampire vibe a little bit. So it's very interesting. I'd love to see this explored more. However, the Foresters are absolutely a cornerstone of Classic Castle. And if you look at some of the old advertisements, they show the Foresters in like just huge massed armies, all with their bows ready.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like, the Fright Nights would try their best with their dragons and magic, but they would just die in a whole horde of arrows. They would never even make it. So the Foresters win this one in my book. So
is that really a death battle?
No. Like, are the real power in Classic Castle lands. They just they pull all the strings. They're like the underlords of everything. So they got this.
Well, you have to go through them to get to another kingdom.
Exactly.
That has a
some are the
power.
Dark Forest, so
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I mean, okay, so this is a hard one for me because as I was getting out of Lego, Fright Nights was the castle theme as I was like moving on in my life. So like I remember looking at Fright Nights and like I was trying very, very hard to determine whether or not I was gonna try to beg my parents to get me one of these. And I eventually got the smaller sets, but that castle was one of those sets that eluded me that I wish I always got. And I had the Forceman too, and like same thing, but I was more playing the Men in Tights version of Robin Hood in my head every time I play with these sets. But like this, there's just something about their darkness that really calls. Like I feel like they stole a lot from other factions and like built their army, because everything that they have belongs to somebody else aside from the Bat Helm. But you know, she's related, right, to what's his name?
So
Oh, Magisto, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
they're
so, yeah.
related,
So you know, there's a whole tie in like the OG lore, and I gotta go with Fright Nights. Like I gotta go with Fright Nights on this one.
Oh, it's 50-50
Oh,
right now.
Caleb.
Caleb, no pressure, but this is all on you.
Jeez. Yeah, this one's hard for me too, honestly. So my connection with Fright Nights and the Batlord concept comes from Lego Universe, which was like my thing. Because that was one of the armor sets you could collect in the game from Crux Prime, and I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, but it was.
I never got that far in the game because I was only I only ever got that beginner one, and then they discontinued it, which I was so disappointed by. But
so tough. But I mean, that was like I just kind of fell in love with the concept of Fright Nights after that, and I never had any of the Forest Men growing up. I only had I had that one set that came with just the single dragon and minifigure. That was like my one Fright Night set, and it was awesome. And I love the capes, and mine look just terrible, all frayed and stuff. But the one theme I always wanted to see remade though was Forest Men, and we did get that this past year with one of the best sets I've ever seen, which was the Forestman Hideout remake.
yeah,
and man, just seeing that and what it could be today gets me so excited, and it makes me sad that I missed out on that theme. That was well before my time, but I think I got to go with Forestman, to be totally honest.
Yay!
Sorry,
you know what? Okay, it's hard because I love the Forestmen too, because I got like 6 of those Forest hideouts because I love that set. Like, I agree, it was such a good set, and it was awesome to see what Lego did with them when they brought them back, even though they did technically change the name to them. But
it's all good. You can get them on bricks and pieces, guys.
Yeah, sure. It's true. All right,
That's
so Forest on the way. All right, 2013 Dragon Knights versus Vladek. I'm trying to think here. One second.
Okay, I got thoughts. This is a real toss up because you got this. I actually think that the Dragon Knights here are the better part of the 2013 castle.
Yeah,
because the Lion Knights did not speak to me after the really good looking Kingdoms ones and the classic Crusader Lions ones. So they were kind of like a step backwards, kind of juniorized to me. They remind me more of the Dupla ones, but without the cool pieces.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then you get to the Dragon Knights. I think they look really cool. The black and red's very classic look. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Fright Knights a little bit. And they're not nearly as menacing, but they have a little bit of that vibe. Red Dragon's cool. But then the Scorpion guys, I'm like Caleb. I love Knights Kingdom 2. I grew up with those sets. I was probably in like 10 or 12 when they came out.
We were buying them off the shelves.
We just absolutely fell hook, line, and sinker for these sets. And so Vladek's Dark Fortress, iconic, big set. They weren't really as good for parts because they're using a lot of burps and panels and like bionicle sized weapons in there. But flip a coin. I think just to be contrarian, I think I'm going to go for Knights Kingdom 2, the Scorpion Knights. But honestly, I'd be happy with either of these two passing on.
Okay, so I'm difficult situation here because I'm a bias towards 2013 because I absolutely hate the 2013 castle line because, in my opinion, Kingdom should have kept going and they shouldn't have just done this throwaway castle line, which I do love the red of the Dragon Knights, but like, oh, this is a tough one for me.
Like, why isn't that dragon dark green and a dark green theme going on here? Like, for real.
Exactly. Like, they had such a, like, they could have gone so many more places with Kingdoms, and this is a whole nother discussion here. Like, let's be honest, they didn't do everything they could do. Like, and they could have improved the sets and not just done these little crappy builds like we kind of got here. Like, this is supposed to be a Wizard's Tower. Like, That's the Wizard's Tower after it got destroyed 5 times. Like, I've always loved the idea of Vladik, though, and that's what I'm struggling with. Someone else go.
I can go.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So there was a lot of missed opportunity with these guys. Like they said, it could have been the green dragons, which are way cooler. The red is cool for bad guys, but red is also a typical bad. Vladik is Basil the Batlord has red.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other villains that have red. And what's the name of the wizard? Can anyone tell me the name of the wizard? No. Does he have a name? I don't even think he does.
He doesn't. I've looked really hard to try to find that name too.
He's not even in the lore, but now Knight's Kingdom is its own sort of sub lore. It's not tied in with anything, maybe loosely with like King Leo and Cedric the Bull. But even then, I think it's just more. I mean, look at the graphic art behind that castle, for crying out loud. Look how dramatic this scene is. There's clearly more effort, as crummy of a set as some of these are. There's clearly more effort being pushed in here. And I know that parts-wise, the newer ones, 2013 ones are good, but they're not that good. They're just okay.
They're kind of basic parts thrown together, in my opinion.
They're very simple, very for a young audience and everything.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sold. And the scorpion stuff, they would at least have giant brick-built scorpions for you to build sometimes and stuff like that. So there was something. This is like a precursor to Ninjago, I guess. So I don't know. It is like Garmadon, sort of. I don't know. That's how I can see it. And Vladik, most people know, who are fans of Lego, know who Vladik is. He's more famous. Everyone knows who Jaco is. Well, maybe not those guys as much, but I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Knight's Kingdom too. I think it's just a little bit more. It's more crazy. It's more ridiculous and crazy. I think it leaves an impact on you.
Also, to me, the one that benefits the Knight's Kingdom too, like for Vladik's army of the Shadow Knights, as they're called, is it's a scorpion. Like by the time we saw that dragon, that was technically the 6th dragon faction, if you count the Duplo one. You know, honestly, this one's kind of more iconic to me. And Vladik, I'm gonna put my vote in now. I'm gonna go Knight's Kingdom 2 because of the scorpion, and because like Vladik is one of the 3 castle villains. You always kind of like, it's Vladik, Basil the Bat Lord, and I guess Willow the Witch are kind of the, when you think of Lego castle villains, kind of who you think of. So I'm gonna go Knight's Kingdom 2.
Cool. I guess I'll go next. So this is well into my dark age. So when I was kind of diving into castle, I started looking at all the themes. And I ran into these guys for Knight's Kingdom 2. So I'm currently trying to collect every single faction of like just whatchamacallit, just like a group of knights per faction.
And what
really like a little squad. But what really attracted me to like aside the Dragon Knights, I mean, they're cool color scheme and all that, but like Shadow Knights, is that what that's what they're called?
Yes.
So the Scorpion was new. Like after going through tons of lions, tons of dragons, I finally see a scorpion. I mean, the bull was another one too, but like it's a scorpion, and the banner wasn't a traditional castle banner. It was like that plastic version, and it was it draped down. So that was another call out to me. And the one thing that I really liked about this is that I know this is the construction version too, right? They used parts from that in these sets, and it was really interesting to see this giant shields. I'm talking about the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're using the parts from the big sets into these, and like I like the way that these bad guys look. There's new armor, new color. It was very metallic-y, very shiny, and it's just I really like the way these guys look. Based on that alone, I'm going with them. Knight's Kingdom 2.
I bought Vladik's Dark Fortress this morning.
Is that casting your vote right there?
What else do I have to say?
All right.
Vladik helmet is awesome. There
You're a
you
new owner of that set on the screen. There you go.
I'm so excited.
I've actually thought about buying this one a few times myself because it is one of those iconic bad guy layers. So with that, I'm sorry, guys. 2013. I know none of us voted for it, but 2013 Dragon Knights is out.
Cool.
Oh, come on.
Real quick before we go to this next matchup, I want to thank everyone who's been watching so far, guys. We have over 60 people in the chat right now. Everyone from Brickstop, who I guess changed his mind about Vladik just because of us, which is awesome. He usually doesn't change his mind that much about these. Will Lamb. Yeah, guys, if you're watching and this is your first time watching, hit that subscribe button, but also hit that like button. Thank you so much for being around. And if this is your first time, welcome to the awesome side of YouTube where we talk about Lego Castle. So, yeah. And also, real quick, all these guys' links are down below. So if you want to check any of them out, I highly recommend them all. Also, go to Atlanta Brick Co. because I forget Mark and Steven are basically on there all the time. According to my YouTube notifications, I get pinged with 10 times a day. It's all up. It's all up. But guys, all right, we're going to go to this next. Oh my gosh. I can't believe this is an actual matchup we're looking at here. So
this is not fair.
No, it's not. I agree. This randomizer is stupid. Okay, it's better than I was originally gonna have both crown factions versus each other to try to get that, like, see what's the better crown faction. But
together first.
All right, this is 1978 Yellow Castle crown faction. We also got the updated CMF figure, which was one of the best CMF knights, definitely top 3 we've gotten.
Oh, yeah.
Versus the Dragon Duplo Knights, which we get a little look at here. These guys
look really cool. Look at their
those
helmets.
Azul Batlord almost helmets there.
Look at that dragon.
Look at the box art. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's actually pretty fun to see.
Can we just admit that we all want that helmet as a minifigure helmet soon from Lego?
Oh, good.
Oh my gosh. This is
the mace.
Yeah. All right, I have thoughts. Okay, so
okay.
I am a big fan of the OG Crown Knights.
We have that set you're looking at.
Yeah, it's very nice. Here's a little handful of them. Without the new figure, I think they kind of are a little weaker because they're just kind of hard to access. You can't find these guys very easily at all. You have to search Bricklink. They're expensive. But with the new little
Night
Girl from one of the more recent CMFs, it's very easy to make these figures now in any shape or form you want because you can. Well, it's easier. She's even gotten more expensive too. But it's
it's possible.
She's like $20 now. But anyway, if you're able to find those figures, you can make a little squad of troops and it's accessible. And so, I think that they're cool. I think that system does beat Duplo. As cool as Duplo is, I think that you could do a lot more with these, especially with the new inclusions in the 90th Castle. Without the success of these knights, minifigures wouldn't exist. Yeah. So think about that.
I gotta drop that.
Whoa.
It's
fact
true.
check. No.
No. This is
Policeman was the first minifigure, and then we got Space, and then we got
Policeman was released in the same year as this set.
It's true.
Yeah, and it was released months earlier. So do you think the little police car was winning people over to the minifigure? No. The castle and the Galaxy Explorer. So if this is one of the pillars of Lego minifigures didn't succeed and wasn't cool and wasn't amazing, we wouldn't have minifigures today. We'd be playing with homemaker figures. So
Lego would have went out and we would have been playing with
I'm saying Crown Knights. I do love the Duper figures. They're awesome pieces. But Crown Knight's got to win for me.
Can I get my vote out of the way?
Have fun.
Yeah. He's right. He's 100% right about that timeline. Here's the thing. Mark's spitting facts. So, the Duplo doesn't have that accessibility. It's still expensive, but we at least have a really cool series minifigure now for the Crowns. The Crowns, like, their influence is like unrivaled. Like their subtle influence in the Lego. It just permeates this along with Space. I have to say, though, it's not really... This set holds up really well, even by today's standards, even though it's very old. The castle itself is very simple. But I love this procession of knights behind. I love the orange cross. I call it the Gothic cross, and I love the Maltese cross. And I love the Shamrock character, the three Shamrocks. I love those guys. I love the chevrons as well.
Oh, you mean the duck ones?
The which one?
It almost looks like
Little rubber
rubber
ducky.
jockeys. Like,
No, it's a clover. It's a clover, I think.
Yeah,
At least
yeah.
it is. For trees or something. But I love that shield design. I think everything here is just so pleasant and fun to look at. I have to go with this one. Although Duplo, like, against most other castle themes, it would be competitive. I mean, go back.
Yeah.
Look at these weapons. Look at that mace that guy on the dragon is wielding. Oh, wait, go back. Look at that weapon. That thing is epic, and the shields have the unique molds. I mean, I gotta give it love, but I can't give it
also
my
all printed.
everything. Yeah, stickers. Yeah, that is enough. But the new one's not stickers. The new one is not stickers. In fact, wait a minute. Those shields are stickers. I should have mentioned. Those are
Oh, wait,
actually,
really?
as far as I'm aware, I haven't held it in a while.
I'll go get one.
I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. I think they're stickers too. Or like printed on sort of. I don't remember. But yeah, the stickers aside, I have to go with the castle. You have little
Okay.
shields, bro?
Yeah,
Well,
I think they're good.
Oh, they're printed? Okay, they're printed. Yeah.
They're printed. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say,
Okay, my mistake. They're printed. Yeah, I got
That would be a hard sticker to apply for a little
Yeah.
kid.
Never mind. I'm tired. I don't know what I'm talking about. But no, stickers aside, I got to go with the original, the OG. It is the OG.
All right, I'm gonna throw my vote. I think the new CMF Knight definitely did really help. Like the fact that they had the armor with the logo on it, plus underneath the unique pinkish color, which we've never gotten again. I mean, we haven't really gotten in a faction. Just to me, makes this faction stand out. The Yellow Castle is iconic. The one downside for me is Yellow Castle are all stickers. Like, I get it. I know that's the time period they didn't really print and all that, but like, it is stickers, and that does hurt this a little bit for me. But I gotta agree. I don't think this faction is the best faction, but I do think they deserve to get through the first round just because of the iconicness of the faction. So,
Yeah.
Caleb, you want to go? You can go.
All right,
No,
yeah,
maybe no way.
I'll keep it quick. I mean, I feel like to not vote for the iconic crown Yellow Castle would be to do Castle as a whole a disservice. I mean, this is the start of a truly great thing, a thing that all of us here love so much. So, Yellow Castle all the way.
the regret in all of our voices for this.
Yeah.
All right, go to the Duplo. Go to the Duplo. I'm gonna just recite what everyone's saying on the chat. Yes, this thing is metal. And how amazing would these figs or interpretation of this faction be in minifig form all around? Regrettably, I have to go with the Crown Knights as well. Like I just you can't. There's none of these would exist without this.
It's true.
All right.
I'm glad I recommended Duplo.
Yeah, I mean, I was
sporting. It's fun.
okay. So for those who don't know, I do a series called Tavern Talk, which I'm going through the full history of Lego Castle and deep diving into all the lore and stuff. And I gotta say, I gotta do Duplo here soon because my mind's resting on that. To start this up, okay. I'm gonna make one quick. I'm gonna go into this one because this is one of these factions appearing to me. Is I want to go on a quick rant.
Okay.
The Black Knights are overrated. Okay. I know I'm about to get so much flack for this. Their shields are awesome. Their flag, the banner they had is awesome. The castles they had are awesome. But besides that, they are overrated. They use the same torso as so many other factions. I mean, it was 2 other factions, I think, used that same torso. And the other torsos they were used also by the Black Falcons and Crusaders earlier on. So, and also none of their armor, like I know it's the time period, they're not crazily printed or anything like that, but to me, Black Falcons, the faction that to me just rivals this is those Crown Knights. They are iconic as everything. The different all these different like versions you had of the Crown Knights, that dark blue color, which wasn't just blue, like we got in blue factions, but that dark blue, like a little more gritty. It's the same reason why that dark green from Dragon Knights. This faction is iconic. I absolutely gotta go Crown Knights, and I'm gonna quickly pull out. I'm out. No black hate. Hey, look, we gotta play dirty to make the factions we
Don't
like
leave
win.
yet.
And also, I will say, this faction was kind of right around the time that I started getting into Lego Castle. Like, I didn't have any of the sets, but my friends had. I've gotten all the sets since then, and I absolutely love these. I know. I'm creating sacrilege here by saying I like the Black Knights, but everyone makes this huge deal out of them, and I just feel like they're overrated to me. And I was built. I have 500 knights that I recently army built them all, and I was doing my Black Knights, and I was just like, compared to these other factions. So sorry, I went off.
I can see the argument. Yeah.
Interesting. Who's next?
I'll go. I mean, here, pull this up. You got to look at this guy.
Yeah.
Right here.
Look at that. Yeah.
Oh,
This is why I'm voting for the Crown Knights, because
The Golden Knights.
absolutely beautiful figures. And like you were talking about the variety, look at all the different torso prints.
Yeah.
Like, none of them are the same, and that's pretty incredible. I mean, the play sets for these were fantastic too. So many different locations, all very iconic to me. Yeah, fantasy era just had great stuff all around. So that one's an easy one for me. As much as the castles for Black Knights were cool, Gold Knight, man, that's so good.
All right, I guess I'll go. So, yes, the Gold Knights, one of the knights that I recently acquired just to continue with my collection. I had to order them from Europe, and I'm happy that I have them now. With that being said, I do think this is a very beautiful looking faction. Crown Knights are great, but damn, Brad, you did me dirty. So, look, the Black Knights Castle Set 6086 was my first Lego set.
Oh, good way to start.
Yeah. I saw that one coming.
Yeah, like like this is a set that got me into Lego, and I didn't even get it brand new. I got it from a friend of my mom's whose kid didn't want it, and I built it secondhand. It was just my most cherished thing, and what got me into the Lego fandom as a kid. I recently acquired it like last summer, and like I just. Oh yes, I knew. I agree with you. There's really, in all honesty, if you want to like look at the other factions at the time, with the Crusaders and like the Dragon Knight, the Black, the
Black
Falcons, they're like a hodgepodge of like pretty much all of them. But I have to go with them. Like this is what got me into Lego fandom. This is why I'm here today. I have to go with this. I have to go with them. Black Knights all the way.
All right.
Damn,
To follow up,
damn
Shy, I gotta drop some interesting concepts here. So the Black Knights are, in my opinion, the pinnacle of classic castle. Okay, this is the most evolved that the original 80s era, 80s style art rose to before getting to things like Fright Knights and Bulls and King Leo and Knights Game 2. It changed as the world changed. And I think one of the best things to ever happen to Lego Castle was actually the Crown Knights, because it took it in a new direction, a realistic appearance. You had the beautiful dark blue and all the gold. Like the Gold Knight is gorgeous. And then like the only thing that rivals the Gold Knight as far as cool castle minifigures, I think, is the Knight with the white plumes, because you never saw the white dragon plumes in any other set. These are really rare, really cool. So you have two titans of Lego Castle, the peak and the pinnacle, and the revival, the rebirth of Castle in my mind. So it's like, who do you vote for? This is dynamic, but for me, it's the three-dimensionality and the unique shape of the dragon plumes that really sells me. I love Crown Knights. I had much more Crown Knights than I did Black Knights, but the uniqueness of the pieces that they really haven't developed even to the same level of detail since wins me for that. So Black Knights for me.
I can understand. I do have to agree. We were getting some comments in chat, which a lot of hate going my way, which I knew. Look, I may be young, but I have a very good appreciation for original Lego Castle.
Brad knows his stuff.
I do. I want to make that clear. I watch my other videos. I do know my stuff. And I got to say, they do win on castles. Someone who said that, yeah, Brickstop made a really good point. If you look at the castles, yes, they win on the castle level, but they didn't bring that other oomph that I needed for me to move them on. So I want to bring that out there. Sorry.
The Crown Knights survived the worst enemies to fight too. They fought the trolls and the skeletons. They were like the survivors.
They really were. Like, there's a reason they look so doom and gloom.
Yeah, I think I should go next because I'm gonna make it harder for Caleb now. Sorry, buddy, but I'm going with crowns. So we had 2 votes for.
No. Caleb voted crowns, right?
No, you're
Yeah,
the
sorry,
tiebreaker.
I'm sorry, I'm tired. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You are the tiebreaker, so
I am the
use your words
tiebreaker. I didn't
carefully.
know it. Okay, so
Crowns.
I'm slow down.
So anticlimactic on that one.
Wait. I do love the Black Monarchs, Black Knights, the Dragon Knights. They go by a couple names. I do really like those guys a lot. I like Magisto. Magisto's from that line.
He's from Dragon
Nope,
Knights.
he's
It's
Dragon
just separate.
Masters.
Oh, we're separating them?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my bad.
Oh, you guys combine them?
I sort of
I've always-
casually do. I casually do. So
They
yeah,
just changed
sloppy.
it from blue to green on the shield. It's pretty similar.
It's just a color swap. That's all
It
it
is,
is. All right. So
We'll get to Dragon Masters later. I have a lot of love for them.
I know it's different, but I'm
Stop
just
confusing everyone. Vote.
anyway. I'm trying. Okay. So I'm going with Crownies because first of all, they brought back medieval life, like medieval Market Village. That set was outstanding. They went up against the most terrifying villains, which was the cool. They were almost like the underdogs for their whole battle, where you see the good guys as the underdogs. That was interesting. They were going off of the absolute. The Naked Knights were before this, guys. Okay, this is the biggest turnaround in Lego's history. All right, they were there. I could go on for hours.
They're the Renaissance.
This is the Renaissance of Lego of Castle, and it laid the groundwork for other good Castle stuff to come after it. Some of the nicest sets in Castle ever were from this line, and it's just
Also, most fun, personally.
yes. You have all these new parts. You have all these new colors. You've got all these dragons. The first mold, this dragon came out here. That was really cool to have the dragons back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, it's magical. I have to go with it. And I had a lot of these growing up, and it brought the Castle community back to life too. So this also did a lot for the community. This theme, I know for sure. So yeah, this is definitely got my vote. I'm sorry. I like the classics, but I got to go with this one.
And they were in clutch
Also,
powers.
they're in clutch powers. I mean, you can't deny that. So you know what? This one took a turn. I didn't know which way this one was gonna go, but I'm really happy to see the way it went. Oh, okay. So it's doing okay. I guess we go through one side of the bracket and then it goes to the other. Which is very interesting. All right.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Dragon Knights versus Crusaders. I think we made our arguments. I have to go Dragon Knights.
Yeah.
I still think, I know Crusaders are iconic and what they have done, but I still think out of all the factions we've seen, Dragon Knights is still, in my opinion, the most iconic and unique. It's not as iconic as Crusaders, but it's so unique. And I just have a love for. I have 100 of them. Okay, I put a lot of money into these guys.
To bounce off Brad, I'm gonna vote the Crusader Lions just because they're like one of my staples, and I think I'm as much as I love the Green Dragon Knights and how beautiful they look, I think I just got to go for the iconic look of the Crusaders just a little more. They're too much ingrained within Lego Castle and my psyche for it to be the other way, but just really close.
I think I have to go with the Crusaders. It's the Crusaders.
Yeah. I'm like, oh,
Yeah. It's not called the Golden Era for no reason. All right, it's
True.
the Golden Era of Lego. It's the 80s. Some of the best stuff came out of there. We have the 90th anniversary castle for the Crusaders. That's a huge punch to the face to the dragons. I like the dragons. Their sets are pretty good. The castle is a little underwhelming, and there are some really nice castles in the Crusader. Not to mention the Guarded Inn, which is like one of my second or third favorite Lego sets, is the Guarded Inn. I love the red Tudor. So there's a lot to love in the Crusaders. They have a good volume, and there's no stinkers. There's no stinkers in the Crusader line. It just all really flows really well. Everything looks great, and plus that classic rivalry. So Crusaders.
I could pull some out of my.
Maybe.
I don't know. Some of those small sets were kind of.
I still love them. I like that.
All right, so two
They
votes
had
for
some raised
Crusaders.
base plates in there, but
Caleb or Shy?
Go ahead, Caleb.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Dragon Knights have it on style points, but
Yeah.
you can't beat the iconicness of the Lion Knights Crusaders. It's just good stuff. I even though it was before my time, I have King's Mountain Fortress, and I adore that set. Raised base plates, it's just good stuff. And yes, like it was said, the new Lion Knights Castle. If there was any doubt in my mind that one of these is more iconic, I mean that kind of seals the deal. So.
That castle kind of smashed everything. Every other castle set.
And I don't even own that castle.
Yeah,
It's just
do.
cool. It's just
No. So you went Crusaders. So yeah, look, I'm sorry, Brad.
No.
Look,
I was gonna see if I could get this to the top 4. That was my goal, but I didn't think it was gonna go against Crusader.
Yeah, well, look, the Crusaders, thanks to Martin Brick Snaps, I was able to obtain a lot of the original castles for Crusaders. So I have that. The Lion Knights Castle is my favorite set from last year. As a Black Falcon fan, I shouldn't like them, but look, they're like the richest faction out there with the most powerful castles, and like the Falcons just want to destroy them all the time for how bougie they are. So
Well,
you know what?
Real quick argument to that.
I want them to succeed because I want them to go to Black Falcons. So
Yeah.
let's let them win. I want them to win. So there's my vote.
Real quick though, the richest faction is technically the original Crown Knights because their castle's made out of yellow, and yet yellow back in the day was gold. So just saying that castle was made out of gold.
They have a
All right.
crown.
I'll take the hit here.
I'm sorry, Brad. I know
No,
that-
Ah, what the heck?
We
All
knew
right,
this was
I'm
going to happen. I had a feeling.
I'm gonna pick mine. I'm gonna go with trolls. I recently obtained a ton of the new troll, and I'm army built. I have like 100 between old and the new figure. I think this faction's most unique. We've never gotten an orc faction before, and kind of since. I mean, yeah, Ninjago has tried to get into that realm, but they do not know how to do it right. Sometimes they get parts of it right. But let's be honest, that shield that is technically when they're giant troll skulls, iconic. And those vehicles, again, strongest faction. That battle wheel isn't just gonna go through your walls. They're gonna like demolish your walls to ashes. Like,
Great case.
Both these
I'm gonna
factions
go
have cool
trolls.
vehicles.
yeah, their vehicle. I mean,
Vehicles are
also,
so cool.
they're in the top. They're in the top 5 factions on this list that have actually mastered the seas. So just saying.
Right. They have
That's true.
warships. Yeah. Can I go next?
Yes.
They're both equally cool, but there's more trolls. There's more troll stuff. So they win out in volume, but I think they're equally cool. I think they're both equally iconic with cool parts, great minifigures, giant trolls, dwarves with the golden helmets and everything. They're just so cool. But I think the trolls can take them both on at once, both the crowns and the dwarves at the same time. So yeah, there's a little bit of a power flex there, and they have the mountain fortress and Trolls Mountain Fortress and the ship and a myriad of other things. So yeah, they win out because of the volume, but I think they're equally cool. So yeah, Trolls get some of my votes.
What do you guys?
Okay, so look, I'll just go trolls all the way. The big fig is dude, it's
Wasn't that
I
the
think
second big fig ever to be made too after Rock Raiders, right?
Well, Rock Raiders barely counts. I mean, the troll hand started the big fig. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think you have the wild.
So that's my it's because of that trolls win. So there you go.
Yeah, it's trolls for me too. They're the minifigures are amazing when you're looking at like the sorceress here. But I've got these all, I promise. But the armor piece too, on like the general,
yes.
There's like just really cool stuff. The copper crown, the cape pieces. They're beautiful figures, and I mean they had the coolest. The fact that they had a giant ship. I mean, the battle wheel was amazing. One of my favorite sets, though, too, is the cart pulled by the giant troll, and you've got the chicken
troll.
leg out in front to encourage
Feed the
people
troll,
on.
yeah, so you can make them forward.
Real quick, did you know there's backstory to that? There's on
Do
the Lego
share.
web. I'll send it to you guys if you ever want this, because I found this. I was able to find the old Lego website, and there's backstory to it. about why they use a chicken leg. Like it's like canon story, quote
Oh
unquote.
my gosh.
So
It's
I'll
so
send you guys
good.
those screenshots
Yes.
sometime. I mean, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah. Just trolls.
Yeah. Okay. To all
Unanimous.
those people saying, "Oh no, doors rock," but come
We love
on.
them.
If dwarves had to go out to anybody, this is the most.
This was the one.
True.
This was the one to get out knocked
They
out by.
actually fought each other in the lore too, so it's perfect
Yeah.
that they send each other home. So that's great.
It's true. All right. We're going with the trolls. All right. Next matchup. Forcemen versus.
Oh.
Gonna go Forcemen iconic. That green collar too is amazing. Also, I'm a sucker for a rogue faction. I think we've already talked about the problems in Knights Kingdom 2, kind of the big parts and how it looks. I also love how the forest was like all their buildings were like built into some sort of like scenery type thing, and that makes them iconic. Even their castle's like an old rundown castle that they reused for their own. Also, the way that they're in the 90th anniversary castle is one of the coolest Easter eggs in any set, in my opinion, of like castle wise, where there's a tunnel that leads to their underground base. Also, yeah, their sets are just iconic. So I got to go Forcemen.
Forcemen, same thing.
I'm in
I
agreement.
love the Scorpions with Forcemen. So.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I don't know.
Yep. The sets are. I'm sorry, Caleb, but the sets are way better. If you actually sit down and build them, the actual build experience is way richer. Characters might not be quite as exciting. They might not be quite as exciting as Vladik and his cronies, but I don't know. They're more iconic. I got to go Forcemen.
I mean, even though I did buy Vladik Stark Fortress this morning, I love the Forestmen. I mean, who doesn't love plant pieces? It's a castle theme focused around plant pieces. There's something beautiful to be found there. And like I said, like one of my favorite sets last year was the Gift with Purchase. So sorry, Vladik. You made it this far. So.
You know what though? Like sometimes this is how it's gonna go the whole time. Like some factions we're gonna be crazy favor for and crazy, but it all comes down to like what the matchup is in front of us. And I think we all said what the problem with Vladix is, and I think they have potential. Also, the deer is such a unique, like it was different from what we gotten. So.
Yep.
All right. Ooh. Okay. So the crown one.
You gotta be kidding me.
Okay. All the arguments I had, I'm gonna go Crown Knights. I'm gonna go the 2000.
Good choice.
Which one?
So guys, for the record, people asking in chat, half the factions, Dragon Masters, Wolfpack, Vikings, haven't even went yet. That's on the other side of this bracket here.
Oh, we'll get to them.
Yeah.
Yes. 2007 Crown Knights. The stickers would peel off. I mean, if you have some of those older Crown Knights, they're not always in great shape. Any set that requires you to put stickers on the minifigures is just a no-no for me anyways. That dark blue is way more iconic. And as you said, the revamp there, the dark blue crowns are going to win it for me this time.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I'm not going to argue. I'm in exact agreement.
Yeah. So I would be the first person to defend the old classic Yellow Castle Crown Knights. However, they have one set and one new expensive SEMA figure to play with, which is good. But there's so much more dark blue Crown Knights to play with. They have so many more sets. They battled so many more enemies. It's more magical. It's more interesting. Honestly, I disagree that it's less iconic. I think that they are less iconic than the originals, but they have so much more to play with, and for that reason, they get my vote this time. So I'm in agreement with you guys. So.
They're also prettier.
Yeah, they are better looking. Obviously, the old ones have like just basic smiley pieces and stickers.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You gotta love how they use the same exact helmet though in both. That speaks to the iconicness of the original 70s Crown Knights.
Without flaw.
Yeah.
Man, that is crazy too. Oh shoot. Ooh. Okay, fine. I'll go with the Crownies of the newer age. Now. That Yellow Castle is a holy grail set. I remember reading about it in Lego history books when I was a kid. Coolest thing ever. Some of my favorite factions came out of that. But I was a kid, and if I had to play with sets, I would have gone for the crownies of the new ones. I would have thought those were the cooler ones, and yeah, they're more accessible too.
I agree. Was that everyone? Sorry, did
No, I mean, I'm gonna vote for Fantasy Era
Okay.
crowns too. It was such an iconic part of my childhood, and we already talked about the minifigures are fantastic. The play sets are, like just so varied. It's just very interesting. Not perfect amongst all the other castles there are out there, but I think it's. I know a lot of people who look back on Fantasy Era with a lot of fond memories. It's good stuff.
Agreed. Also, we got to go, and we all said it. That one at least deserves to go to the ground. But also, real quick, I am trying. Someone asked in chat if I could throw a poll in there, and yes, I'm going to start throwing a poll in there just for you guys to put in your votes. And 92%.
Wow.
Let's see. Out of 14 votes, 93% went to the Blue Crown Knights. So,
Yeah. Oh man,
this is bad.
I don't like these matchups because I have a feeling I know what's
brutal.
going through. You know what? Trolls. I already made my argument. Trolls strongest faction. We've gotten 7 different lion factions, including Duplo. Look, all I'm gonna say, Trolls beat, like, if you look at all the old siege weapons of Crusaders, Trolls would run over that. And then they're going to take their giant battering ram and destroy those puny castles.
The newest castle, they won't.
Not the 90th anniversary.
No. See, this is what they're going to do.
Upgraded.
They're going to take it by seaport, and then they're going to hit it with their battering ram. And there's all those tunnels underneath, so probably weaker walls, and those walls are going to collapse. I'm going with the Trolls.
I don't know. Like, if you want to start talking about that, where they're gonna get their stuff destroyed, the Lion Knights, like I said, they have a very, for their time, the older versions of them, they had very strong castles for what they were, and even the newest one with the Lion Knights. I mean, even the lore in it says there's somewhat of a piece with the Black Falcon. So if they really wanted to, they could link up with the other two factions and maybe find the Black Knights somewhere in there, and then go against the Orcs, and literally will have the diplomacy of running the Orcs over.
Well, I'm going to quickly, sorry, I have to when someone mentions castle lore, and there's something I can add, or I just have to add, Black Knights and Crusaders were technically one faction at one point under one banner, but with different, so yes, technically they could have worked together.
Yes. So I feel like if the Orcs arrived at their doorstep, emissaries would have gone out, and then you would have had a Helm's Deep situation at the end. So I want the Crusaders to win, so I'm voting them.
I don't want Crusaders to win. But...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. There's a reason that Mike Psyche and everybody else who worked on that 90th anniversary castle chose the Crusaders for their faction to reboot the castle with. And the reason being is because I'm sorry. I like the bad guys, but you start with the good guys. I gotta go with the Lions because of don't get me wrong, I love the Trolls and I love their volume. I love the big figs, the dragons, everything going on with them was super iconic, but I love that 90th anniversary castle. That thing made me want to up my game with castle. I am falling behind Lego. Like I need to amp it up, and I got to go with Crusaders. Would you mind if I hit the restroom, by the way?
Yeah, sorry. I know this is going a lot longer than
this is really fun.
This is honestly like my favorite Friday night I've had in a really
Caleb,
long
you want
time.
to finish this out, or you want me to vote next?
You go for it. You go for it.
He's gone for a little bit, so
I gotta explain my reasonings. This is the toughest one in the bracket, I think, so far.
I agree.
And I think the Trolls are incredible. They have so many cool sets there, like pretty much the ultimate bad guys in a way. They're so unique, so cool. The copper colors, the sets are awesome. If it was just the classic Crusader Lions, the Trolls would win.
Yes.
But because of the 90th anniversary castle, it changes the game. because the trolls, I believe, would run over every single old castle that came in its way. However, once they get to the 90th anniversary castle, the queen is going to rally her troops and she will hold off the hordes of invaders. And that's where the buck stops. Because, you know, like the trolls are great. They have a new CMF figure. They're relevant again, but the Lion Knights were honored above all other Lego themes. And so I think that they win this one. So.
I'm going to put one argument out there. Trolls are a better army builder than the Crusaders.
That's a choice. I don't know, man. You got
the
guys. My goal is that it isn't just Crusaders versus Falcons at the end of this. So I will do whatever needs to be done to make sure that happens.
So good.
I don't know. Should I wait till Steven's back?
No, go.
I think you're good to go. He also voted Lions, so I think we're Lions one at this point. So.
Can I just say it's neck and neck in the chat? It's 52% Crusaders, but just a second ago is 52% Trolls.
Yeah.
So, wow.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, it's I love the Trolls. I always have. I'm not going to go on about it. We've said it so many times, but troll. Yeah. Oh my goodness. You got more Crusaders than I do. All four of them here.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
This is all orcs.
Are we just gonna show off all our cool castle stuff? We can do this. I love it.
No, I had a
castle flex.
I have a big bucket of just trolls because I've been like putting them aside for my mock and like keep army building. And I got another 25 coming from Dana down in Georgia. He's been picking them up for me. So okay, from what I heard, Shy, did you say Crusaders? Is that what I heard? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, my bad. I said Crusaders, yeah.
Okay.
It's 3 Crusaders, I think, because Steven also said Crusaders, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 4.
4?
Wait, who said Trolls? Besides me.
I said Trolls.
Okay, Caleb.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
it's
You know what,
I got
Caleb?
you. I got you.
Caleb, you're invited back to the next stream.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. I'm sad to see that one get up there.
Oh, another tough one.
They're all getting tough. Who'd have thought?
The next one's gonna be even more interesting because there's some crazy factions in the other side. I'm so like kind of wish it was mixed up a bit more, but like, you know, maybe I should have done old factions versus new, like all the old factions on one side. That's what I should have done. Now that there's so many different ways that this could have went down, but
I think you're doing good. You're doing good, Brad. Good.
Thank you. I just literally hit the random button.
That works. That works.
All right. Real quick on that last poll, this is so much. 33 people voted, and it was 48 to 51s with Crusaders in the lead. That is insane to me. All right.
That's close.
Everyone ready in chat for this next one? Forest. Man, make sure I spelled that right. Versus Crown Knights. As community, that is out there. Oh.
All right. I'm ready to weigh in on this.
Do
I had to think about this one for a minute, but Crown Knights are amazing. They're the survivors. They're the Renaissance, but I think the Foresters got to win it for me just because until recently we hadn't seen anything else like them.
Dark Forest. Sorry.
Yeah, but that's like within a decade. You know, I'm saying that's like within the noise. Okay. It's like after that you had Knights Kingdom 2, you had King Leo, you had all these different castle things that are not that. I mean, Crown Knights is a unique emblem, but it's another knight, it's another crown, it's another kingdom. The Foresters were unique, and the Wolfpack were cool. But then after that, you don't see any other Forester Wolfpack style guys. So I think that they're more special among Lego Castle. And so I've got to vote for Foresters for this time. Super close. It's like, you know, that 51, 49, 48 thing. It's just like, it's close. So, yeah.
You know, I just realized, sorry. The only fantasy era theme on the other side is the skeletons.
That's okay. It's okay.
Hit
the random button. That's what happens.
I know. I just realized it. I was like, oh, maybe when the 4 like fantasy era ones will get to Final Four. And I was like, oh no, it's skeletons. I don't know.
Yeah. It's Forestmen for me too. I know I've been hyping up fantasy era this whole time, but I love the aesthetic of Forestmen. It is my favorite looking in terms of the locations. It's just so good. And plant pieces.
I'm gonna be devil's advocate here because I do agree Forestmen are good, but I also want to see. I'm gonna go Crown Knights. I believe that the Crown Knights, again, as we talked about, Fantasy Era was when Medieval Marketplace. Someone brought that up in the chat there.
Yeah.
Medieval Marketplace is one of the most. You want to talk about goats and how that like the Lion Knights should win because of the goats. We wouldn't have had Medieval Marketplace without the Crown Knights. Like that set is like I'm about to build that next week on a 5-10 hour stream because I finally hit 10K and that's the set I said I was going to build when that happened. And I got to say that is one of these sets when no matter what, like the goats are cool and all, but when I looked at castle sets, I was like, oh my gosh, Medieval Marketplace is the epitome of it's like if it wasn't for the newest castle and maybe the blacksmith, I would say that's like it's at least top 5 favorite castle sets for me. I'm going to go Crown Knights. I just think they're very iconic. I think the dark blue, and yes, it is another knight, and the Forcemen are a good, awesome rogue faction. They're chaotic good, but I got to say, Crown Knights, they're better. They're better.
All right, well,
It's
I'm
fair.
with the chaotic good then, because I want the Forcemen to win.
Okay.
They're awesome. What about you, Steven? What's your vote?
I don't have a lot of time to think about it, but I think I have to go Crowns.
Two Crowns versus 3 Forest.
Yeah.
What was that?
That's the final vote. If you vote Crowns, it's 2 Crowns versus 3 Foresters. So yeah.
Unless
Really?
anyone wants to change their mind. No.
It's 50, like just about 50-50, but I got to go with Foresters. So.
Yeah.
I gotta go with the Crownies because if the Crownies can beat the original castle, then I'm sorry, they could be Foresters too.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, Force goes on. All right. I'm gonna go Forestmen for
Why?
my vote. I think my favorite color is green. So Forestmen also same
Because your Dragon Knight lost.
same argument that was used against the Knights. We've gotten tons of Knight factions. We've only gotten 2 real rogue, 3 real if you count Dark Force as a separate faction, which we are in this. Dark Force is on the other side.
Yep.
I gotta personally go. I gotta go Forcemen. Also, real quick, 63% of people voted Forcemen on the last one. So
Okay. So this one, I think it's kind of like going back to logic, and I don't know if this is flawed logic or not, but this is my reasoning for voting this way. These are basically like two of the top 3 favorite factions for me.
yeah.
And I think I got to go with the Crusader Lions because the Crusader Lions are what the Foresters feed off of. You know what I'm saying? Like the Foresters are there to be. The Foresters are there to be the bane of the Lions. So I think that like
Not true.
without the
Also
Lions,
Black
you
Knight.
don't have the Foresters. And so I think that it's kind of like they're
It
first.
wouldn't exist without
Yeah.
that.
So and
Yeah.
I think if it was just the old sets, the Foresters would win again. But the new castle is such an awesome avalanche of.
They're Forcemen in the new castle.
Well, here's the thing.
And also the Forest hideout too. Like
that queen figure with the new barding just makes everything else look really plain. That's all I'm saying. You know, it's like in the new barding, new printed cape, beautiful individual torso. It's like the Crusader Lions have been upgraded to a very dangerous level. So I think I got to go with the Crusader Lions. But it's so again, this is like a 50-50.
Someone else but me.
Look, I'll just go. I'm with Mark on this one. Like I said, I'm biased. I want them to go against Black Hawkers all the way to the end. So,
Yeah, I still love the Forest here.
Ooh.
And this is I shouldn't even say people are gonna hate me, but I like some remakes. I like the new Forestman's Hideout better than the Lion Knight's Castle.
Yep, I understand.
Whoa.
that I mean, you're going a remake versus like a new thing. So I guess I can respect that.
yeah, I can respect that argument too.
So I mean, like they're obviously all great, and that's not the sole reason why I go Forestman, but it's out there now.
Wow.
There you go, Caleb.
What's the tally?
You
Tiebreaker.
too.
Oh,
You said you were
I'm not going to be upset if either of these two go by. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
I will be, but it's fine.
How do I love these both so equally? I mean,
Okay,
oh,
Rogue
it's
faction, chaotic good versus just the good knight faction.
they're not just the
most
good
powerful
faction.
faction
I
of the whole
mean,
thing.
oh my word. Okay.
You want to flip a coin, bro?
I genuinely don't know.
Do you have-
I'm
do you have a
panicking
quarter?
here. I don't.
Hold on, I got a coin.
Oh, how about this? In the new castle, let's be honest, the castle was amazing, but all that forestmen stuff inside, the little rock, the throwback to the old forest hideout. What was it? Camouflage outpost, I think it was called. So many castle sets I have to remember.
Wait a minute. You might not even need the coin, bro.
Oh.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but
Oh,
I think
no.
I have to go Forestman on this one.
Yes!
No!
Yes!
The only reason is because they felt more personal. They felt like those.
Yeah.
Prince John is essentially the Crusader Knight, and Robin Hood is the Forestman. So it's like, I don't know. There's something heroic about it. Crusaders kind of lose that heroism a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's that. On a purely emotional decision.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to go with the Forestmen because remember they were the cool bad. They were the cool bad to the bone guys who would
Also,
always
they're
beat the
kinda
Knights in our books.
civilians, too. Like it's
Yeah,
one of
that's
the few
civilian.
it's like kind of the few civilian faction we've ever gotten. In a
So
way.
relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I was going with the logic that the Lion Knight's castle was steamrolling everything. But no, the Forcemen were there too. So you can't say, oh, they're the most iconic. No, the Forcemen are right there. So
With
I
Black
feel like the Lion Knights wouldn't be the same without the Forcemen.
Yeah.
Damn, you're gonna knock out the strongest queen in this entire thing.
Force Maiden.
She is more expensive. Yes,
Destroyed
she's
that.
Guys got him there, but no.
right now. Yeah, she's
Force
expensive.
Maiden. She's right there. I don't know her name, but she's right there.
That's exactly
Her
that's,
heavy,
that's what she is on Brooklyn.
All right, guys, starting off strong on the other side.
Oh,
of the bracket.
the birds.
Yes, which actually I'm really happy with this one. Because I think these are like it's gonna be very difficult to fight. I know Shy's gonna be fighting hard for the Black Falcons this whole time. You know what? I'm gonna throw in the vote. Shy, I think you should start this off. You're wearing that shirt.
Okay.
All right, look, Black Falcons. It was the wind up to getting Castle back on track.
Yeah.
Like you got to admit that. Like there were obviously they're in the CMFs, but as a huge set when there was a little bit of a hiatus since Nexo, and that doesn't even count. So like Black Falcons coming out with the 3-in-1, in the idea sets that were also in there, and then also in the new sets that are available right now. They're everywhere. Everyone is army building these guys. Technically, in the older castle days, these are the guys that were literally punching everybody, and they were the army. Like they were the quote unquote bad guys, but they're the unsung heroes of keeping castle alive to this day. So with the medieval blacksmith, like come on, I got 2,000 of them. I'm gonna go.
Oh man.
Okay, is that your full argument?
I mean, I want to save. I don't want to say it all right now.
All right,
Save some for later.
Yeah, I gotta save some for later.
I'm gonna go Raven Knights for a few different reasons.
Raven too.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Wait, what?
Go ahead, man. I was kidding.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry. I was just joking.
I also had someone who told me I respect it for not playing it safe, and that's how I'm going. I'm going like, all right, I'm really thinking about these. Yes, Black Falcons, but I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm going to play, whenever I go against one of these, I'm playing dirty. Black Falcons were only reused because Lego is lazy, and every time they make a new piece, they're like, well, we might as well use that up in a few more sets. And that's the only reason we got Black Falcons 2 more times after that blacksmith. Let's be honest, it got popular because it was on bricks and pieces and people could army build it. When you army build something, you have a more emotional attachment to it.
Oh, duh.
Ooh, Brad.
Let's go Ravens, though. This is the one CMF. No matter, I've talked many different Castle CMF videos, and everyone goes, yeah, that Raven Knight, though. That Raven, I mean, yeah, we had the Black Falcon bird, that Raven just so iconic at this point. Like, and it looks so good. Like that black with the yellow black background. let's be honest, if you were lucky enough to army build these, those torsos were also amazing. The colors, I'm trying to see if I have any near me. I don't, but the color scheme was just amazing. Where it was like kind of that orangish yellow in it and stuff. And then like I've seen people army build these and switching out the helmets, and they just look amazing. Like the crossbow helmet with it, just I don't know. And it's such a good figure to army build because you get the torso, you get the legs. If you want to throw some, armor over it to, just on a blank torso, very easy to fig barf. Yes, Black Falcons are good, but let's be honest, we've seen enough blue factions. Let's look at a yellow faction that did it right, that wasn't naked.
Oh, hold on. Before anyone else goes, I need to rebuttal this.
Burn it up over there.
Let me rebuttal this. All right. All right, you want to say that, yes, the Raven Knights, they look beautiful as an army builder, but look, let's face it. No one can army build these because they're like $25 to $30 a piece on Brick League. Look, for $4 a piece, fully equipped on bricks and pieces. So technically, the Black Falcons are the people's Falcons. Like, it's everybody's. Everyone can build an army. Everyone can go against the world with the castle line. So Black Falcons can build army building Ravens all you want, but you won't build more than 20 when you can get like 200 Falcons.
Wow, she's trying to start some beef here. Guys, also, I'm going to put this out there. No matter what we say, we're all Castle fans by heart, and the only reason we're arguing one way or another is because this is fun.
I'm going in earnest, though. That was a joke. Raven Knights. No, I'm not. No, I'm not voting for Raven Knights. There's a reason why. I like. I wanted to give you a heart attack, Ty. I'm sorry.
No, I get it. I get it.
So, I love the Raven Knights. I love the color. First time I used that color in Castle, really. Aside from the Jester, which was really fun.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The Raven is cool, but he's got a couple other really cool series minifigs right next to him. That's the problem. And there's no castle. There's no barding. There's no tower. There's no tower bridge.
It's just a figure.
It's just a minifigure.
You can customize them, but it's just a figure.
There's a lot of potential, but Black Falcons is already... It's not like the Falcons have potential. No, they have embraced their theme and have done a bunch of really cool stuff. We have a civilian building, which is very rare. The Black Falcons, the Blacksmith, which is an amazing set. I can't. That's on par with the 90.
Kind of mad,
No. It has a barding. It has the nougat horse. Nougat, is that right, or tan?
It's the dark orange.
Dark orange, maybe.
And tan in the blacksmith, dark orange in the castle, I believe.
Yeah. Anyway, it has a new horse.
It is tan in the blacksmith I'm looking at right now. Sorry.
The Black Falcons Fortress is one of the all-time greats. It's like $500,000 now. It's an amazing set, and they had other castles too. They had siege equipment. They had another fort, the Knight's Castle, I believe it was called, and they had like a couple other ones. And I'm sorry, it's the more complete theme. I mean, and we have a Falconer, which is great. So they have their own series minifigure to compete with that series minifigure. So I think they're extremely competitive, and I think they take the win here.
W.
Yeah. So it's basically what Steven said is the Raven Knights are really awesome, and I think that aesthetically they actually look a little better than an individual Black Falcon, but you can do so much more with the Black Falcons. There's so much they have the legacy, they have the iconicness of a classic castle faction that's been revitalized. They're the opponents of the 90th anniversary castle, so I think that they definitely win this one. So.
Yeah, I mean, my vote doesn't count at this point, but I do wish the Raven Knights is what the Rogue Knights from Knight's Kingdom should have been.
That's so
I don't know why, because if you remember, the name escapes me, but the Big Fig version of the Rogue Knight actually used flame yellowish orange, bright light orange in for his color. So they just weren't producing the minifigures parts in that color at the time. I don't know what it was. My first interaction with Falcon Knights is 2005's Durmstrang ship, which included 2 of the shields. Don't know why, but it's on the Durmstrang ship. So I do have a special connection with it there. But I mean, this is an easy choice for me. Raven Knight's cool, but Falcon Knights, they got so much going for them, especially today.
Yeah. My only rebuttal to that is you technically only have 3 different looks, which is the classic, the new Falconer, and the new one, but it won't win.
They have one.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I have no rebuttal other than I was trying to switch it up. So
Yeah,
Black
I
Falcons,
appreciate
we
that.
kind of knew they were going to win their first round, whoever they went against.
That's one of your strongest videos.
Actually, not anymore. Trolls overtook it. It's so that
I said one of. I didn't say the.
Okay. All right. So what we got here is, and let's see here. I have pictures for both of these. Just give me 1 second. So this is, for those who don't know, this is King. I want to say yes, Leo.
King Leo.
From Knights Kingdom 1. So it's his faction. Which, okay, I'm going to put my first argument against these guys. I'm not even picking one side or another. They don't really even have a name. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Who
sorry,
are they
go on.
up against right now?
The skeleton. Oh, sorry. Did I not show that?
I don't think I saw
Oh,
it.
sorry.
Oh.
Skeletons
Oh,
versus
okay,
King.
okay.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I forget.
No, you're good.
There's like I have like 3 different things going right now to try to.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
Skeletons actually kind of have a little more of a name. Especially coming from the wizard, where it's like King Leo is like, oh yeah, here's his kingdom, but we're not gonna really tell you much about it. But I'm also not diehard Knights Kingdom. It's a area I want to look into at some point, but I feel like the 3 of you guys know a lot more about Knights Kingdom 1 than I do. So I don't know. I guess I'm gonna throw my vote Skeleton. Skeleton. We also got those iconic circular shields with them. We have a ton of crazy stuff in the Skeleton. We got dragons, we got the little ship, so they have the carriages, we have the skeleton horses. Everything is just so good that the Skeletons did. And of course, you got the wizard that actually has a name that we've seen in different medias. And so I don't know. And also the fact that he may or may not be Ogle from Alpha Team is pretty cool. So and also gonna throw this out there. Skeletons captured the queen and their princess. So either the Crown Knights suck at defending their royalty, or the Skeletons know how to like kidnap some people. So
Well, I mean, they don't die. So,
yeah, that
That's
too.
true.
I mean, okay, I go. I'm with you on the Skeletons. Look, I just got 1,000 of them, and to fight my Black Falcons. Yeah. So I'm already building these guys. They're a lot cheaper than getting Black Falcons, so it's a good enemy to fight. And look, they look cool. So I'm just going with that.
Okay, this is a hard one. Go back to the Knights Kingdom, as they will be called. That is their name, the Knights Kingdom 1. The set in the bottom left corner, that was my first ever set.
Ooh.
That's the first set I remember buying
Wow.
ever. The only one that came before it was your set, which was an insectoid set that you got from somewhere. But King Leo and Sir Richard, that's his name, Sir Richard down there.
Wait, is that Sir Richard? Wait,
His name, Sir Richard.
which one? The knight?
According to the Scholastic books,
They have their own,
yes.
they have their own lore as well. They have their
Yeah.
own story, their independent thing.
Yeah. Brickstop actually sent me some photos about that. I'm gonna see if I can pull those up quickly.
This is a hard one, but I think I have to go with nostalgia on this one because I like the Skeletons a lot. They are very easy to collect. They're very accessible, but I like the printing on these guys. Yeah, this is all fun. Go back. This is all corny and cartoonish. I love the Castle Grayskull on the right there. It's very funny. The Black Death, Black Plague symbolism is quite funny too. The black skeletons are cool, and like it's grim, but it's also very medieval, I guess you could say. And yes, you have a dragon. You don't even have a horse party here. Yeah, this is something, but I don't know. It's not great, but it has such a special place in my heart. I couldn't diss it now, so I will go with King Leo's Knights of Knights Kingdom 1. So.
okay, to follow up to Steven, there's 2 things that weigh in my mind as I'm looking at these 2 factions. They're both. I think that the Skeletons look a little cooler, but they have a major weakness, and that's the skeleton figures have a very big lack of posability. They can't turn their hands. In this instance of minifigures, eventually they would make skeleton arms that go both directions, not just up and down. So I like to pose my minifigures doing dynamic fighting scenes. So The King Leo's figures work a little bit better in that way. Individual printing for different characters. They have chrome weapons. So chrome longsword, I'm pretty sure is oh no, that's Royal Knights. Anyway, they still carry on the chrome weapons, which I really like to see. So I think that the characters work a little bit better in Knights Kingdom 1 than the skeletons in particular. I think the Fantasy Era stuff is top tier and beats Knights Kingdom 1 overall. But if you're comparing the weakest of Fantasy Era and the better part of Knights Kingdom 1, I think that King Leo's Knights win in this case. So making it a little more competitive for you guys.
But one quick note, I have to say the skeletons do have a bit more character. This does come across as a bit generic.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I still hold my vote, though. It's close.
Shy, you already voted for skeletons, right?
Oh, so am I tiebreaker again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, my vote's for skeletons, and here's my argument here. Here, more stuff on a stand.
There you go. Let's go. More visually.
What I love about these in particular is the variety that LEGO is able to capture with something you would think would be so limiting. I mean, we have this like death-like figure here.
The Green Reaper, I call him.
Yeah, it's so cool. Very interestingly, they had like a minifigure version of one of the skeletons with, regular mini. But I was very impressed, especially with the weapons, with the mace, and all their swords. It's something so versatile. The rounded shields again. I was very impressed with these. These are a lot of fun. Another very unique enemy to face. Yeah, great to army build.
Also, they didn't just have the oval. They had the oval ones and the circular ones. So there's good variety there.
No, can't we just like admire the skeleton horse though?
True.
Yes.
Oh. You're right. I guess so.
Top left. Right, and didn't they have it in black too?
Yeah, it was also in black, and it was also winged. It had wings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the base, the villain HQ, that's a pretty iconic looking thing. The asymmetrical look, the really oversized jaw drawbridge. That's really clean looking. Definitely one of the best Fantasy Era sets.
Gotta agree. So skeletons win this is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. That's pretty solid.
I agree. It's a tough one because you're all right. It's the weaker side. Like in my opinion, the skeletons are the weakest part of Fantasy Era. But Knights Kingdom. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a. So Dark Forest. So this isn't Forcemen. This is Dark Forest versus 2013 Castle.
Dark Forest. Done. Dark Forest.
Dark Forest. Dark Forest is wild. I love
Dark Forest have really expensive minifigures, so I'm with Dark Forest.
Dark Forest again. I kind of have a hate for 2000. I almost went 2000. I don't know. Dark Forest. Yeah.
Blue Lions should have been those Duplo guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ooh.
Vikings. Vikings are going to be here.
Did I not tell you the Vikings? I'm pretty sure
they're here. They're here. Yeah.
So yeah, Vikings. I have image. No.
I can never unsee that.
Thanks for pointing that out, Shy.
Sorry.
No,
they're right there.
Vikings. So the Vikings versus the Bear. I don't have an image of the Bear Knight. We all know what that CMF looks like. This is I'm gonna go Vikings just right off the bat. They got the ship, they got the fortress, the minifigures. They had all those different looks. The Bear Knight's cool. That dark green glow. If we're gonna go with a dark green faction, let's just go with the Dragon Knights. So I have to personally go Vikings. That theme was fire. Like in my opinion, top 5 castle themes for me. So
yeah.
Vikings. I don't need to elaborate. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yep. Vikings get it for me too. So
it's probably the best offshoot castle theme is Vikings, I think.
The Bear Knight looks like a Dragon Knight that changed his shield out. It's like you should be over there. Anyway,
So this is King. It's actually I'm gonna butcher this. Yeah, so this is Knights Kingdom 2 versus Dragon. I know I grabbed images. Okay, my biggest gripe with this is you have to dig to find the name. And so this is the Morcia. So it's the Morcia Kingdom, technically.
Yeah.
versus Dragon Masters, which all right. I'm not going to go first here. I'm quickly throwing a poll into chat. So
I'll go first, I guess. None of the Knights Kingdom 1 first gen sets are.
Knights Kingdom 2? Or?
I'm sorry. Knights Kingdom 2. My bad. I'm sorry. I get the numbers mixed up. None of the Knights Kingdom 2 sets from the first gen are really all that impressive. Even the coolest ones were pretty bad on parts. They didn't have a lot of. They tried to give it character, but it felt very forced. Like it didn't feel. I don't know. The sets aren't very good.
It's pretty harsh.
I'm sorry. I don't like the painted colored knights. I mean, yes, they're colorful, but we've seen other colorful factions without having to compromise the shiny armor, which we like. We like shiny armor, right? Go back to the dragons. I like Magisto. He's more iconic than King Matthias. Magisto in all the Legolands. Like, he's a really cool part. The classic dragon is it comes in multiple sets, guys. It's in most of those sets, and it's a great piece. We all love it. Giant flags everywhere. The cloth work is everywhere on this thing. The characters are all interesting. The molds are weird, but they're not terrible. They're interesting. They're different. We've got a cool checkered pattern on this knight here. The arms are asymmetrical. The legs are asymmetrical. You don't see that every now and then. That's character. You don't get that in the purple knights and stuff like that. No offense to your t-shirt, Caleb. I love purple. But no, I don't like the weird yellow and green prints. I don't like that. I'm sorry. I look back on Knights Kingdom 2 and cringe. This is fascinating. This is fascinating. This is different. This is weird in a good way.
All right, I'm going to put this out there. In my opinion, Dragon Masters is the top 2 castle dragon themes, and also top 5 factions for me. Dragon Masters did it right. What I didn't like about Black Knights, Dragon Masters excelled in. That cape, the minifigures, there's so many different looks, and they also have the plumes. You want to talk about plumes, Mark? You kind of made that argument for Black Knights. They killed it. And those helmets are iconic. Yes, Fright Knights and the Bull Knights used them, but they looked so at home on the Dragon Masters. Dragon Masters had Magisto, which technically he is the leader of, if I researched that right. Some of the sets you could say, they're kind of blocking stuff, but those castles still look great. I don't know. Dragon Masters all the way. They are up there with some of the best stuff that Lego Castle has outputted.
Yeah. Dragon Masters introduced a lot to the castle line.
Yes.
A lot. As far as molds, you gotta have it. But what really attracted me as a kid to get to Dragon Masters was set 6076 right there, the heroic part of the knight just on the back with the giant flag, the cape, the big axe. That's what really attracted me to this theme. So
yeah,
I'm with Dragon Master all the way. I don't even know the other theme, so it was well to my dark age. So I don't like this. This looks like a rundown Nexo Knight to me.
For the record, it's factions that we're going off of here. So this is the faction, the third faction from Knights Kingdom 2. Well, technically the first one that was made. But yeah, no, I gotta agree. This one, the fact that it's another lion one, it's blue, which we've already seen better versions of it. And on top of it, it's they have no character. They tried, but they have none. I have a heart in my place for the Knights Kingdom 1 and 2, but I will always trash them unless Nexo Knights is in the conversation.
All right, it's my turn to talk. I'm seething with rage.
Yeah.
So I spent the shameless plug for my channel. I spent the last 2 weeks working on a video about the first wave of Knights Kingdom 2. And it is undoubtedly one of the most underrated castle themes ever made. And primarily for the reason it is the most fun with castle you can possibly have, and that's for a number of reasons. Because if you need to build these sets and actually tinker around with some of the functions, there's a transformation function associated with the Castle of Morcia, that it can turn into an evil castle. It's not blue, that's blue violet, a Knights Kingdom exclusive color you're seeing there in the castle. But you can flip it around to dark red and it becomes Vladek's Castle. You get 2 castles for the price of one. One of the last uses of a printed raised base plate. The other one from 2004 was Ogle's Mountain Fortress, much weaker set, but Knight's Kingdom had the action figures. It had so much gear items. You had the chess set. You had all the trading cards, which are tremendous amounts of fun. I mean, the game is stupid, but great collectibles. Actually being able to battle it out with the action figures was amazing. And
it's what people love about Bionicle. Like,
yeah, and there's a lot of crossover with those. That's what I'm finding. Like, people who love Bionicle love the action figures, and it kind of bridged the gap between System and Bionicle, which is really, really cool and really unique. Yeah, the fact that I hear so much hate thrown against this theme. This is the theme that got me into Lego. I don't know if other themes could have done it, because I was into action figures, and then my parents pull up these Lego Knights, and they're awesome. They're super durable. They're fun to play with. And then the next thing I was looking at, oh, there's these little castles I can play with too. And they were so much fun. And the fact that this theme kept going on to where, you know, wave 2 and wave 3 had some really good stuff where you get Vladik's Fortress. I'm so excited to get that set.
Wrong generation, wrong faction.
Yeah, whatever. But I'm just saying, Knight's Kingdom as a whole, and the way that the story develops, these are, everybody in Knight's Kingdom had a name. It's so personal. You talk about these guys having no character, but this is the castle theme with character. There was so much passion poured into this theme. You have to respect it. I seriously, like, look up the artwork for the trading cards, the comics. It really is something special. And I don't know. I love Knight's Kingdom. I really do.
I agree with you on certain parts where you're talking about Knight's Kingdom too, because I have actually a lot of the trading cards. I've been collecting those. I have a lot of the big figs because I find them interesting. I will say they did a great job on doing what they should do, and it's kind of what they did with Ninjago, which was giving us books, giving us, like, you know, action stuff around it that makes it more interesting. I agree, but when it comes to it, the execution was done horribly compared to Dragon Masters. So.
All right. Well, you've already said stuff, Steven. All
right.
Okay, so my vote is irrelevant, but Caleb, I really support you and back you on your Knight's Kingdom 2 journey and your experiences. I think that they're extremely underrated. They have some really cool colors, really cool pieces. Now, they don't work for most Lego fans, and you have to acknowledge that. So I think that they didn't land for everybody. However, Lego had to try something new at this point. They had just been off of their worst fiscal year ever in 2003, I think it was, or was it 2004? Anyway, they were in tough straits, and they're trying something new, and this is very different. So you got to appreciate the uniqueness of Knight's Kingdom 2. However, Dragon Knights is awesome, and for Dragon Knights was the best Lego sets for a lot of people. But here's the thing: I, as somebody who looks at, like, the old castle sets as, like, my favorites, these are actually kind of like they're starting to show their age. Lego's trying some new things, and I think they're switching into a wrong direction, because not necessarily, because, like, think of it this way: raised base plates, huge panels. It's just a bunch of burps and some plant pieces. The builds are really starting to not evolve in the right direction. This is the beginning of the end for Classic Castle. This is the rose that is a little bit past its prime. It still has some glory to it with, like, those plumes and the fabric and the dragon, super iconic. But so I think that the Dragon Knights don't have as much strength. I think they have some weaknesses if you think about it, is in terms of the greater picture. So, but I still got to go with Dragon Knights. But this is really close for me. So.
Well done.
You know what? Caleb, though, he had me. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, I think you're showing a lot of love. I think, honestly, any castle faction should be shown a lot of love. You know, we all hate on whatever. When it comes down to it, every fan, no matter what age you are, has some, like, if they're a castle fan, has some faction that they look at and they're like, that was my faction. That was my faction. And Knight's Kingdom 2 is definitely a really solid faction. But
disclaimer, I played with those as a kid too. I had a lot of those sets growing up, and only one of them was ever really good. I'm just saying, I did grow up with them.
Okay, man.
They're called the jelly beans for a reason. All right. Moving on. Oh.
All right. This is an interesting one, because if Wolfpack had went up against any other faction, I love Wolfpack, but it destroys Royal Knights for me. Royal Knights is iconic, yes. It's the first king we've technically ever gotten.
The Chrome Sword.
Yes, Chrome Sword, that
Mhm.
cape, but I will say the minifigures for me just not doing it.
Mm.
The Wolfpack are iconic. I really want to. I use the CMF Wolfpack figure as a perfect example of what Wolfpack could have been if they kept going with it. The brown is unique. It's kind of like the Bull faction, but also the symbol of the wolf is the most unique and only been used once technically, and it is so cool. I think we need another wolf faction. So I don't know. To me, Wolfpack wins this. It's so hard though, because I do know Royal Knights is a really solid faction, but
is it the same generation? Will these two fight each other in real life?
kind of.
I think so. I think so. They're still
I
around.
think Wolfpack started retiring right when Royal Knights came out, and then it was Dark Forest that came out. Yes.
Pretty cool, huh?
Nice.
Little higher.
Enough said. The Royal Knights are wearing tights, so.
I think I have to agree as well. There's something just so unbelievably like if you ask most Castle fans what's your favorite faction, most of them have said the people I've talked to.
Same.
Lot of them, a big chunk of them will say Wolfpack is the coolest and my favorite. The sets are simple, but they have a certain charm to them. The lions are royal, flamboyant, flashy, almost like too much. They're very Gucci. They're extra froofy. I like it a lot. I think they're really nice for the era and everything. I think they're great. But the Wolfpack are just too cool for. It's literally the wolf from Puss in Boots, right? That's literally who these guys are. It's so cool. They have to win.
And also, I loved how we had like Forcemen. Where I always play like D&D terms, like they're chaotic good, these are chaotic evil. Like
yeah.
And then you got like Black Knights, which are evil, and then like Lion Knights, which are. I mean, I guess technically Black Knights aren't evil because of other stuff, but like.
Yeah.
Wolfpack. Gosh. I have all three of the Wolfpack sets, which is one of my proudest achievements, but like they're fun. I'm not gonna lie. I've enjoyed the Wolfpack sets. So all right, let's go through this one. So I know it's 2 for Wolfpack.
So I have all the Royal Knight sets. I used to have them. Yeah, I used to have them, and then I lost them all, and then I was able to get. Sorry, just kidding. I'm missing the carriage. That's the only one I'm missing. So I have the drawbridge and I have the castle. This was like the beginning of like having structure of what they look like for me, like when like uniform, because I didn't have anything before Black Knights, and that was the only Black Knights set I had. Like I had a little bit of Dragon Masters, and then I got this. This was like the army for me. Like I didn't have Black Falcons as a kid. You know what I mean? So this was my connection to having uniformed knights with purpose. You know what I mean? You have the archer, you have the on the carriage, you have the knights that look. They're all exactly the same. No mix match and helmets. They all have a purpose. And then I really love the red knight that you could only get in the castle.
Yep.
I put like an armor on him. And I made him look like beefier as a kid, but I really loved this castle, and I kind of had it against my Black Knights castle as a kid. But with that being said, I love the outlawness, ruthlessness of the Wolfpack.
Yeah,
like they're pretty much captured in every faction as like the guy in the prison. But there's just something about being like rooting for the bad guy that I feel like is a draw for a lot of people, especially when you just don't trust them for anything. Like, you can't run to these guys to help you for anything. So I have to go Wolfpack because you need that chaos.
I agree. I always imagine Wolfpack like their arms dealing on the side. They've technically got some like they got all the shady. They're doing all that shady business. Like
they're the ones you don't want to run into.
No.
Yeah. They're the mob of the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. These are two just totally underdeveloped themes. Like it's hard to. I don't own any of the sets. I have one like badly cracked Wolfpack figure, and that's about it. And
we bridge, I think.
but I mean, The one thing I will say that I love about Royal Knights is that 2x2x3 octagonal column in light gray. That's awesome. You can see it in all the turrets. And I love octagonal columns. Who doesn't? But this is just, it's just so hard to say. We don't know what these could have come to. I think obviously the Wolfpack is just more interesting on its own with what we did get, and I'll put my vote in for Wolfpack too. But I do love those octagonal columns. It actually does make for a unique aesthetic with all those turrets on the Royal Knights castle, which does make it stand out from other castles of the time.
Yeah.
And also the base plate is amazing on that set.
Yes. I will say, if we're just going on the faction logos, Wolfpack beats. The
Totally.
Royal Knights looks like they're a great faction, but that symbol is one of the weaker lions I feel like we've seen.
Yeah.
Also, we got, okay, so yes, there was exclusive Wolfpack keychain that had the, like, it was Knights Kingdom 2 armor under it, which, Shy, I know you have that torso.
I can't get
Where's
focus right here.
Yes.
Oh, what?
I want that torso. So for those who don't know, this was exclusive to a keychain, but what happened is a ton of them got onto Bricklink because someone at a factory, I guess, was just pulling them. So the only ones you can buy right now, I'm pretty sure, at least last time I checked, were like $6 from Russia, which I was like, probably not, especially in the middle of what was going on around it. So also, yes, Lauren, I agree. Wolfpack is the motorcycle club of the castle.
That's a great way of putting it.
There's so many different ways. Like they are that group. So yes, Wolfpack all the way. I mean, I agree. Royal Knights, I think if it hadn't gone against Wolfpack, may have actually went up more. But all right, wow, okay.
That's happening right now in my fantasy videos.
This is Shy's entire room right here, right?
Yeah, pretty much. What's happening behind me? You can't see because it's blurry.
I don't want Black Falcons to win this all, but Black Falcons versus Skeletons, let's be honest. Black Falcons win this.
Black Falcons.
Yeah, Falcons. Yeah.
I'm not gonna even argue.
I mean, I like Skeletons, but Black Falcons.
Yeah. Ooh.
You gotta think about this. This is what we're gonna think about.
All right, I did show Dark Forest last time. I actually have that set without the base plate and not the figure. It's such an interesting situation, but yeah, the figures themselves are really cool. Technically, we did get like a Robin Hood figure with this.
Those two figures on the side are very pricey.
Yes, on the right side, like it's
on the right side.
It's like over $100 each.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's insane.
Thanks, Emily, for getting these for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna vote for an emotional, nostalgic reason, and for this reason, I've got to go with the Dark Forest because you could race in Lego Racers in the Dark Forest, and that was like such an immersive experience for a little Mark in the 90s. And so I got to go Dark Forest. I love the Vikings, but they have some big weaknesses in their sets, and like the horns, I'm not loving it because I'm more of a history guy. So got to go Dark Forest. You know what? I think I have to mirror that. They've made some nicer Vikings more recently in the series line, which are just a little bit nicer.
And the Viking ship.
And the Viking ship's pretty awesome too. So they found it,
Well, that should be included in Vikings too. So
that's
think about that.
Yeah, and also don't forget we're going to get one of the best Viking sets probably ever dropping later this year. So
yeah. So we can't count it yet. It's not out, but no. I think I agree. The main bulk of the Vikings, they're extremely cool. The printing is really fun as well. The boat is really cool. The box art's really good. The monsters are really good, but sometimes they did feel a tiny bit clunky. Like not all the dragons looked very good. Some of them looked pretty bad. That one looks great, but some of them were not very good.
A little bit too much Bionicle.
A little too much Bionicle when they didn't need to do it. They're really, really good, but I don't think they can compete to the golden era with Robin Hood. Extremely close. Like this is one of the closest ones yet, and I think I have to go with the Forceman on this one. Sorry.
All right.
I think if it was any other matchup, Dark Force is really cool, and I think like honestly I like them a little bit better than like Forceman a little bit, just because there is that variety to a lot of their torsos. That like leather kind of looking armor is really solid, but to me, Vikings is iconic. Yes, I know I'm younger. Like I'm a much like to me, Vikings is really cool. I've also been on this Vikings high recently because I've watched like Vikings Valhalla and The Last Kingdom. So I've been on
You
a
didn't
more
watch
of
the
a
original Vikings?
I need to
You
find
need
it.
okay. If you like
Just
Valhalla,
wait.
you need to watch the original.
Yeah,
ones first.
is it on Hulu? I don't
It's
actually know
on-
where.
Yeah, it's on Hulu. I think
Okay,
it's also on Peacock. It's on like 2 different streaming services. But if you like Valhalla, which I'm perplexed about, you're gonna love the originals of Ragnar.
Okay.
You have to watch the original ones.
I'll have to check that out then.
Yeah.
But just in Lego wise, Vikings are cool. I know the horns, but to me it's like so Vikings are actually technically connected to Fantasy Era due to a map in the Lego Club magazine, which is a video I'm going to do at some point, hopefully.
Know that.
But to me, the cool thing, like I see these Vikings as like they're kind of like Fantasy Era. It's yes, they have the horns, but they're they're fantasy. Like they're gonna be a little bit weird. They're fighting dragons for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I think the ship is so iconic. We've gotten so many ships, but this is honestly probably one of the coolest ones. Maybe I don't know. So I got to go Vikings.
Fair points.
So self plug. I just added a Viking horde to my army because I have a Viking queen married to my Black Falcon king. So a lot of these torsos you can mix and match them and make different like Vikings. Like you don't have to have the main 6. So if you really want because I'm a big fan of the show. So if you really want your Vikings to be true Vikings, they don't all look the same. They're all, they're not Royal Knights. You know what I mean? They don't have very clean setup. So it's very easy to make these guys look like real Vikings based on just a torso selection that you can get from this point of time in Vikings. Yes, even with the new Vikings, the new Viking ship with the creator line, there's 3 torsos, but there's still another 6 available with this one with different legs. The mix matching of them. So if you just put them all together and just start swapping torsos and legs, you have a very, very unique setup with a group of these guys. And look, the shields play a big part of that since there's 4 different colors. They are not easy to get, but like the what was it, the fort? Do you have a picture of the fort?
Yes. I don't actually. I meant to grab one, but it's
like that thing. So Lego Rado is probably my favorite Lego set in Western line, and that has the wood setup that circles around itself gives me that vibe, and I really, really want that set. It's like one of my white whales. So I'm going Vikings.
Yeah, that's up there for me too. That one and the ship are up there. So that's 2 for Vikings. Caleb, you're the deciding vote here.
Yet again.
One of the best $10. Everyone talks about 7018, but one of the best $10 sets ever made.
Yes.
7016. This is $10 back in the day. You got this ridiculous little dragon. But this is this set that just the creativity of this theme is off the charts. I mean, 2 of your standard big boat hulls right here smashed together to make this really quite elegant Viking ship, shields, Vikings, everything. And you still have this funny little dragon. Mark pointed out that this theme is flawed. Like some of the building techniques are cursed, absolutely cursed. A lot of bionicalization of things, but it is a building experience like no other. And I think there's a lot of value in that. There's something really special about Vikings because it's something we will never see again, because first of all, half the parts are just discontinued because of Bionicle. And then half the techniques are just do not hold up to modern Lego QA standards. It's really fun and interesting. And so again, it's one of those more unique lines, even if it isn't historically accurate. I mean, they also have sea serpents and dragons in there, so I don't think they were going for historical accuracy. There's a lot of really fun sets. I just picked up the giant armored dragon. That thing is crazy.
I forgot about that set.
And the pictures don't do it justice. I can go grab it, but I mean, it's a really great theme. But I mean, this set here, if there's one Viking set you get, it's this. This is so fun.
Oh, I don't have it near me. Wait, is this it?
I mean, can we admire the fact that designers were like using other pieces from a different line into like creator break? I mean, trying to. It doesn't have to be a success, but at least they're trying to implement something different. In
the wolf is cool too. Yeah.
So
there he is. Yeah.
So like, look at so you got the Knights Kingdom armor plate all over this, right? I mean, obviously the wings they were using, but that's just a cool wing. This was some massive bionicle head. You got the ridiculous flame piece, and the bottom half, his chin is the standard Vikings dragon head in dark blue. Just crazy stuff. You can see the old dino feet from what was that, like 2000 in the Knights Kingdom feet. Again, in the flat silver, so insane, and that's like there's just nothing else like this theme.
Those are really good points.
I was gonna quickly show this off here. I picked this up a while back, but it is that wolf set still sealed in its bags. I found on Facebook Marketplace.
Awesome.
I also got the Viking chess set for $50 with all the figures in it.
Nice.
So that made me love Vikings a little bit more. I saw Caleb. That dragon is super impressive, and I think that's 3 votes for Vikings.
Yeah, deserved, I guess.
Also, there is a thing in the chat. Vikings versus Trolls would have gone crazy. That should have been the matchup. I don't even know where I would have went with that one.
Well, the Trolls would have to win on that matchup for me, but anyway, it would have been hard.
So,
Vikings win.
Oh yeah,
Viking. That's 3 for Vikings. I'm sorry, guys. Dark Force.
We get it. No, hey, I'm fine with. At this point, it felt cool. So.
Wow, yeah.
Stunned. Oh man, we're all completely stunned on this one.
Dragon. I'm saying dragon.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. That's
gotta go for this
dragons.
Dragons, yeah.
You know what? Because of Magisto.
Yeah.
Because of Magisto, he's as iconic as
anything in Wolfpack.
There's no Wolfpack character. You got the Wolfpack gang, but there's no ringleader. So I don't know. I guess I'll go with dragons very reluctantly. I do like Wolfpack, their iconicness, but I'll go with the dragons.
Oh, you just said it right there for me. Like, there's no leader, which makes me like the Wolfpack more.
No, Dragon Masters had a leader. I mean,
no. There's no leader in Wolfpack.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was paying attention to other stuff for a hot second there.
Yeah. So that. Damn you, Lauren, you got me with the Motorcycle Club thing. So I'm gonna go with the Outlaws. I'm with the Wolfpack.
You can make the picture bigger.
What's it been? 2 for Dragon, 1 for Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't even know, because like for me, Wolfpack is top 3 favorite factions for me, but Dragon Master.
Justo has a house.
You know what?
Magisto does have a house.
I'm gonna make it 2 for Wolfpack.
Okay. All right.
And you know what? Because we've said at this point, like, if it's Vikings, I'm just gonna bring the Rogue CMF figure into this, because if all that other stuff has counted, the Rogue CMF figure is, in my opinion, one of the best castle figures we have gotten. And as it is Wolfpack, which I have proven that this is Wolfpack.
Fair enough.
In my opinion, I mean, if we had gotten that in all black, let's be honest, that would have been the perfect Wolfpack figure. But I gotta go that figure. I mean, Wolfpack in general is cool to me. They're the rogue faction. They're just something else. And yes, Dragon Masters with Magisto is legendary, but we've made some great points about how it kind of felt down. So Wolfpack, go Wolfpack.
Have I been living under a rock? I've literally never seen this figure before.
I didn't realize it until I started digging into Wolfpack for a video.
Yeah. The Rogue, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have 3 of him, and I want to get more.
Works very well. I want to make Rangers.
I was collecting those when they came out, so we got a good handful. So.
Oh, nice.
That's wild.
Right, so that is 3 dragons, though, right? Because dragons.
I went Wolfpack.
So 2 Wolfpack, 3 dragons. Is that right?
Dragon?
Both Mark and Steven both went dragon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went for the plumes.
I want to see the dragon piece itself in Magista.
If it was any other faction, I know I keep saying this, any other faction.
Hey, these are tough matchups.
Oh,
I gotta do this to me.
this is the second time for you. I'm going Vikings.
Oh,
I'm going
Rob, you
Falcons.
just don't want to see Black Falcons win.
Yes,
Oh.
I want to see Black Falcon. I don't want to see Black Falcons win this whole thing.
Technically, I've united these two factions in my lore, so I'm going Falcons.
I know, but you bought so many Falcons.
I know, but I also have 150 Vikings, and I like they're my navy. They're my navy to my army. So
So, Shy,
But-
you said Black Falcons?
yeah, I'm Falcons all the way.
I'm going Vikings.
What do you think, Caleb? We
Yeah,
want to hear
what do
your
you think,
thoughts.
Caleb?
I really love Vikings. They're
Oh, okay.
going with them.
Oh,
You want to
2-1.
decide this one, Steven, or you want to go now?
Go ahead.
Okay, I think I got to go for Black Falcons because they're if you're thinking castle, Vikings are amazing, but they're more of a sub theme, a subgenre.
That's true.
Black Falcons are like a core pillar of castle. So without Black Falcons, you don't got any Vikings. You don't got, just historical themes are going to be dropped if Black Falcons win as successful as they were. So.
I got an argument here.
Okay,
Devil's
what's up,
advocate,
Fred?
fine dirty.
Yeah.
We have seen a lot of factions that are based off of European factions. Let's be honest, like kind of like that medieval style. That Vikings was different. Vikings. I mean, yes, you know,
Vikings are also European. So.
Yeah, but
Wait a minute.
it's that
I have a
style.
counter. I have a counter to that.
Oh,
I think Vikings were a little too different. They're extremely cool, but I think there is a slight pro and con to being so unique. I think
Yeah.
it doesn't feel as castle-y as Falcon. It's a
Yeah.
very hard. You can't just put your finger on it. The sets are wild and crazy, and Caleb, you really reminded me. Oh yeah, these are actually ridiculously cool. But I think Falcons embrace the nature of what Lego Castle really
Damn,
is.
Steve, you scared me for a little bit, man. I was getting a heart attack. I'm like, oh, he's gonna say Vikings. And we're gonna
No. I think they're too. Don't worry. I think they're a little too different. Now they are castle-y. They are part of. You could have your Vikings attacking a castle, and it would make perfect sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're just a little too different. And I'm not saying that to bash them because I'm like, oh wow, yeah, they're actually amazing. They're really cool. But I think Falcons, they have multiple castles. They have a blacksmith shop. How much more castle-y is that? I mean, I don't know. There's a certain iconism or whatever about it.
Iconic.
I think I just have to go with Falcons on this one. I'll break the tie.
Black Falcons. It is. I kind of saw that coming, but I'm going Dragon Masters already. Just the plumes, capes, cloths. Black Falcons never got that.
Can we just every time the Black Falcons come on, I'm already on that side.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not even saying anything.
Okay. I'll weigh in real quick. I think that if it was just the classic themes, I would honestly probably lean towards Dragon Masters because they had each Dragon Master figure looks like it could take out 10 Black Falcons. You know, they look like a hero.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But at the same time,
We do have a dragon
Dragon
though.
Masters has not been revitalized
At all.
Black Falcons is kind of the latest generation of castle with the blacksmith shop. You have the 3-in-1. It's included in the 90th anniversary. So that last gasp of the Falcons just uppercut the dragons, and that's it. So Black Falcons win for me.
Go ahead, Caleb.
Yeah, sure. I think I'm gonna go with Black Falcons too. I love the minifigures of Dragon Knights, but the sets are just really unimpressive to me. I mean, you talked about that a bit too. It's just burps. Like, okay, cool. But Black Falcons has a lot going for it when it comes to the setting.
Classic castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put in my vote. I've actually had the opportunity to build a lot of dragon sets over there. Magisto's house is actually really fun to build. Some of the castles, they are very burp heavy, but only one of them is exclusively burps. The other couple are pretty good. I built them for my live stream. They're pretty good. But yeah, I'll go with Falcons too. I don't know. The sets are just a bit better. They're nicer to look at. The characters are good for army building and stuff like that. I got to go with Falcons on that one.
All right, guys. It is the
Ooh.
final. And I know this has been a really long stream, guys. I thank you to everyone who stuck around at this point. I honestly kind of wish Crusaders versus Black Falcons now.
Told
'Cause I
you.
feel like Crusaders would have had a better chance. But I'm all right.
Can I start? Yeah, go see.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut in line, but I'll start.
Yeah, go for it. No.
Here's
Put a poll,
here's
Brad.
where
Put a
I'm
poll.
coming from.
Yep, got it.
Here's where I'm coming from. In my honest opinion, Crusaders and Falcons are equals. I can't pick a better one of the two. Person.
Well, it's Forcemen versus Black Falcons.
I know that's what we're talking about.
Sorry,
now.
sorry.
But no. I totally get it. Yeah, Forcemen versus Falcons. I'm giving you my logic here.
Okay.
I think that Falcons and Crusaders are equal. I think they both have equal sets. They have equal modern sets, and they have they're the ultimate rivalry. But there's one thing that beats them out, and I'm gonna go with this. Name me one single more iconic medieval character than Robin Hood. Name me one more character in all of medieval history that is more loved, more written about, more put into a toy like Lego,
Or movies. Yeah.
or movies, or comics, or cartoon, everything. Robin Hood is always there, and you always see. Robin Hood was this. I'm going to go with. I know Robin Hood is in Dark Forestman, but in my opinion, the black collared minifigure, that is Robin Hood. That's the OG,
So,
in my opinion. I know he's not. But
No. Actually, Forcemen have Robin Hood. So in Europe, Forcemen sets were actually given Robin Hood names. It's like Robin Hood's Hideaway. It talks about him saving some of his people in one of the commercials back in the day. And if you look at some of the old European magazines, it was actually Robin Hood versus the Black Knight, which is a whole nother story about the leader of the Black Falcons. But it's one of the red collared ones. He has a brown hat and a yellow feather, is actually Robin Hood.
Well, that's Robin
On
Hood.
top
Okay.
of that, if you want to go even more detailed, Robin Hood, the CMF figure is called, the CMF figure Forcemen from series 1 is called Robin Hood in the Lego movie. So, and he technically is the leader of the Forcemen if you look at his bio. So technically, Forcemen do have a leader, and it is Robin Hood. So sorry.
And that's where I'm coming from. You can't find anybody in medieval history more iconic than that, specifically here in the West. But one last thing.
The Arthur, man.
Wait, I'm not done. One last thing, and I'll go quickly. I know I'm taking a long time, but you have the Falcons and the Crusaders we're here now, 2023, from the early 80s. Who do we have left? We have the Falcons, the Crusaders, and the Forestmen. And in my opinion, the Forestmen are always the underdog. They're always there. They're always popping up out of the ground. That's the history. That's medievalism for me. That's the feudal age, is Robin Hood. So I will go Forestmen.
Great argument here. Forestmen go out of stock faster in the path part. Therefore, they win. All right, Shy. I already do you want to give one final pitch? I know you're the Black Falcon guy. Do you want to give one final pitch why we should all pick the Black Falcons?
Look, I feel like if we're gonna go back to like the late 80s, early 90s with the Black Falcons, they were the outside bad guys, right? They didn't really they had very iconic, like 2 castles, but they were very uniformed, which I loved. They were blue when most, at the time everybody was of a red hue of some kind, or a warm hue of some kind. So it was an off color until you got to Black Knights. And then they kind of just died out. And then they came back with an idea set. And that lit a new fire of, oh snaps. It's classic castle that's going to revive this theme, not a new thing. You know what I mean? Not a new line, not a new history, not a new storyline, not a new faction of any kind. It's bringing it back. And without the Black Falcons coming back, the Crusaders wouldn't have been back. If without the Black Falcons coming back, you wouldn't have the Forestmen to come back. So technically, we have to thank the Black Falcons for reviving all of Castle today.
All right.
I don't know.
I think I'm ready for my
Some
vote
solid
here.
arguments here, guys.
It's solid. It's solid.
Put up a poll real quick.
Yeah, I did. It is going on right now, by the way. It is going on in the YouTube. So if you guys want to go vote. All right, this is my vote. I'm going to go. I have reasons for doing this. I'm going to go Forcemen too. I'm going to drop a couple quick things. One, if we gotten any other faction that Blacksmith, let's be honest, no one would have cared. People would have bought that because people love, what is it? Lego Castle. I think, yes, Black Falcons did help, but they aren't like any other faction could have done that too. Like if we gotten like Crusaders, let's be honest, if we gotten Crusaders in that set, people would have loved it. Secondly, Black Falcons were actually never called the Black Falcons until the fans gave them the name. So yes, there is that. But at the same time, Lego didn't acknowledge them as the Black Falcons until it was 2021 when the Ideas Blacksmith came out, was the first time Lego actually put the Black Falcons in writing as the official name of.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
So yeah. So to me, it's like, who got the actual love? Like early on, the Forcemen were called the Forcemen. We saw like actual little bios about them originally. We have lore. They were in a Captain Indigo comic. Yes. Same thing was with the Black Falcons, where we also got them called Robin Hood. I agree. They're iconic. The Forcemen, the Black Falcons will always be loved, and they become a fan favorite. And I think it's one of the reasons for that was because they were introduced with this newer generation. So a lot of newer generations fans, this was the first faction that's a lot of them were introduced to. So I think that does go towards them. But let's be honest, that Force Hideout came out and everyone kind of started forgetting that the Black Falcons existed because they were just like, hold up, rogue faction, let's go for this. And I'm going to say it, Forced Hideout was just such a solid set, and how the Forced Men were in the new 90th anniversary castle compared to the Black Falcons was so cool. So I don't know. I think also the original sets, there's a lot of love for the Forced Men that I'm gonna throw that way.
All right, I'm gonna weigh in really quick if you don't mind, Caleb. I'll let you finish off the conversation. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Long story short, I think I'm gonna go Black Falcons.
Really?
Because here's the thing. I love the Foresters. I love Robin Hood, and they're so cool because they're always got the hideout. They're always underneath the castle, messing with stuff with the trapdoors. But if I'm thinking about like Lego Castle, think about the sets. The Forester sets are awesome because they got all these plant pieces. They're really fun. Black Falcon's OG sets, they're fun, but they're not as fun as the Forester sets. Once you get to the newer ones, I think there's a shift. I do like the newer Forceman's hideout or Forest Guardian's hideout, whatever it's called. Anyway, that one is really cool, but it's basically just an updated version of an old set. The blacksmith shop.
It's also an updated version of an old set.
Yes. Even the original Lego Ideas picture is completely different from what we got in set form. That is a very unique set. It's so special. That's one of my favorite sets that I've ever built. I really like that one. And the 90th anniversary castle is probably technically better, but it's like also way bigger and more expensive. So because of the new Black Falcons and that they were the introduction to the newest wave of castles, they literally cut out my Grumpy Castle persona right at the root. Like, I can't be grumpy anymore because Castle exists. I have a box full of new Castle figures. I've been satisfied after a 10-year gap of Castle stuff, and it started with Black Falcons. I gotta agree with Shy. I think Black Falcons wins it for me.
No pressure, right?
The Castle Bro will decide. Hey, Caleb, you're the Castle Bro. You get to call this one.
Yeah, look, if you get called that on the show Lego Masters,
we honor it.
We honor it.
Hey, they both went far. They both got it to the end. This is respectable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's.
I think you're muted.
Am I?
Oh, me, I'm muted. I'm sorry. My kids are running around the background, but yeah, I'm happy Falcons made it this far. If you don't choose that story.
Yeah, I'm obviously these are both well loved, iconic, great Lego castle factions. Looking at this, as a child of the late 90s, 2000s. My experiences with these differ from a lot of the classic fans. But looking back on Lego's history, I feel that it's ultimately Forestman that adds more to that story, because Black Falcons is great. It's a great color scheme. It's iconic, but Brad, you mentioned it. It's interchangeable to some extent with the others. It doesn't bring much new to the table, whereas Forestman really brought something special to Lego Castle, an influence that we still see today, in sets like the 90th anniversary Castle and stuff. And there's something so just iconically Lego about it. It's very playful, it's very imaginative, and I love the energy that it brings by using that unique setting, the unique colors, the base plates, all these things. And I think that really brings something special to our Lego universe, and that's why I have to go with Forestman. Shy hates me now.
Okay. I have nothing against the Forestman. If they ever lose to the Forestman or the Line Knights, I would have been totally fine. Anything else, I would have walked out. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, right, so you have the 3 OGs in the final, the 3 original most beloved ones in the final. Let's just say that.
It's still a win.
I mean, the top 4 were so Forestman wins this all, guys. That is that's okay. Don't know what's happening there. So Forestman win it all, and Crusaders and Dragon Masters were also in the top 2. The Black Knights didn't make it to the top 4 compared to Dragon Masters. I just think it's really interesting. But
Fantasy Era didn't get that far either.
I mean, a lot of you guys got knocked out quick. I mean,
that one side of the bracket was super competitive. Holy crap.
Yeah. It was. I'm downloading the bracket right now so we can throw it up and quickly look at how this went down. But this is insane.
Wait, what was the poll?
Okay, so according to the poll, Black Falcons. But guys,
validation.
Validation, yes, Black Falcons, but
it's the people
Forestman win this.
It's the
Forestman win this. That was the deciding vote by us. So this is for everyone who's watching. There's everything. So
it was a close vote too. It wasn't
yeah. So this makes sense. I think
people's choice was Black Falcons, but Forestman. Okay, look. I'm gonna throw this out there. Everyone can love Lego Castle. I think what we've learned today is everyone can love Lego Castle in so many different ways and the way we want. It's not like Star Wars. It's not like Marvel. You can love these themes however you want. You can love these factions. This is our choice. Let's be honest. This is our choice. But all of you guys can decide in the comments what you believe is. We're not saying from now on the Forestmen are decisively the best. No, we're not the leaders of the Castle community here. We just happen to be some loud voices in it. So
this evening, this is the one that won this bracket. But they're all great.
I feel like what we should have done, new factions on one side, old factions on the other, and then it's like old versus. That would have been interesting. Next year.
And apparently you have to include Nexo Knights because there's been a lot of outcry about that.
Yes, I'm seeing that. Also, Ninja. I feel like we gotta put in there.
Ninja.
I was gonna put that in. I don't know. It was in a sweet spot.
We were at an odd with Ninja.
Yeah. There's also technically there was a faction that would happen right after the Crown Knights, which was that white and blue and red faction, but it was they only had the one Knights Procession was the set. It was like a little wagon it was an awesome battle pack. It was 6 knights in it. I almost threw that one in here, and we had a couple others.
I thought you were gonna put the Ice Warrior in here too.
I almost did that. I have a lot of Snow Guardians, so I also there's so many. I don't know. There's so many guys. We could have put the Elflands factions in and all those. So, how do you guys feel? How do you feel about how this bracket went? Do you feel like any of these should have went farther than they did?
I'm surprised the original Yellow Castle stopped so early.
Well, they fought the Crown Knight fantasy area.
They're both crowns, so it's,
The only thing I would have changed is I would have swapped out Foresters and Lions probably.
Okay.
The trajectory that Foresters took, I would put Lions there instead. But
that was the change.
Honestly, Foresters are right up there, so yeah.
I think there's the holy, I want to call it the holy trinity almost of like castle. That's like Black Falcons, Forestmen, and then Crusaders, and then of course you got Black. I mean, if you want to, it's the 5-pronged Black Knights and Wolfpack that kind of led the charge of what we see today. I mean, Black Knights introduced the dragons to us. We've gotten so many Lion Dragon factions after this. The Rogue factions, we've only gotten a couple of since then, which, in my opinion, Lego, we need some new factions would be cool, and make sure one of them is a Rogue faction. I think that's what we've learned.
I want to see a new Joust set with like 5 different coat of arms, and then you guys epic. Wouldn't that be the coolest thing?
Okay, all I'm saying is we've gotten the solid ones. So what we need now is we need a $200 Joust set. We need a $50 Carriage Ambush. I'm just saying, like, get some Forcemen. That's the one where you introduce the Wolfpack. We get a Medieval Village
with the goat.
Yes, with the goat. With the goat.
A Falcons siege army to attack the
yeah.
Well, technically they're at peace now, and then we need a boat. We need a boat is the big one too. So
make a neutral warship, bring it back.
Exactly. I mean, hey, honestly, I think the trolls, like, if they landed on any seashores, all the knights, like, that's what we need to start. We need to start off with knights battling each other, and then we get the second wave is the trolls attack and all those people. I'm just saying.
Sounds like a great setting. Lego needs all the Lego executives watching this video. Contact Brad right away after we're done.
And then I'll hire all of these guys to come join my team.
Oh man.
Well, I want to thank guys. This has been a long stream. I apologize for that. I want to thank Mark and Steven. Thank you guys so much for coming out and, from your busy time of being, part of Dude Perfect and Lego Master.
Been crazy.
Thank you so much, Caleb. This is the first time that me and you have talked, and it was so much fun to have you on here. Guys, first off, if you're not watching Caleb's videos where he's diving into lore and stuff, I mean, he's doing kind of what I'm doing, different takes on stuff too. I mean, you can tell he's a fan. You should go check out. He's done stuff on Exoforce, all the stuff I want to be talking about here soon. But
yeah, I like Exoforce. Who would have guessed?
Exoforce is amazing. Okay. Mark and Steven, you guys should go check them out on Atlanta Brick Co. Also, Steven, I know your YouTube link doesn't work, so I'm pretty sure you don't do YouTube anymore.
Yeah, it's old. I don't use it anymore. I'm on Instagram mostly. You can find me there.
So Instagram, also Atlanta Brick Co. Like, they stream on there quite a bit. You can find Mark, his YouTube channel. He's doing a Rock Raiders mock, which is actually really sick. I'm really sad I won't be able to see that in person.
Ooh. Wow.
And of course, my buddy down there, SHYTIME. I pitched this idea to him a while back, and he was so down right when I pitched it. So there's so many people I wanted to have on, but you guys should also go check out Shy. He's doing awesome army. If you want to learn more about army building and all that kind of stuff, you should definitely check him out. And of course, guys, check out Brick Monarch Shop. Use code Bricking10 for 10% off. Again, thank you to all these guys. And I so many other Castle fans that I wish could have been on here, but this is where we're going to end it. So I will see you guys on the next video, and I'll talk to everyone. Yourself a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
See ya. Thank you.